Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN Day 3 at Centene Community Ice Center as Jamie is working the Blues youth camp that they have here every single year with the Utes, Utah Utes, with Jamie Rivers and a resident Super Bowl champion, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh here as well. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we are going to be joined by Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis' own Matthew Tkachuk. We're going to try to get him on the line here. We'll talk to Matt about a host of topics, including, of course, winning his first Stanley Cup. And, boys, what a journey it was for Matthew as last year his Panthers fall short of the Stanley Cup. He's got, broken ribs?
I think he cracked his sternum, I believe is what happened. Yeah, funny story. It's not funny. I shouldn't say it's funny. I'm sure now it is. During the playoffs, after he cracked his sternum, he missed the next game and then tried to come back and play after that, and he did. He played another game. But to get ready to go to the game, he couldn't put his suit or any of his clothes on. So Brady was down there visiting him. His brother helped dress him so he could go play in the game. He played that night, and it was not the version of Matthew Tkachuk that we knew. So it was very hard for him because he had to miss the next game because he wasn't helping the team. And lo and behold, they lost that game.
But a year later, they wind up winning it. And that one wasn't easy because they lose. They win the first 3 games against Edmonton. And then Edmonton comes storming back. They tie the series, as we all know. And you're facing the Oilers, red hot. They've got one of the best players in the world on the other side in Connor McDavid. But the Panthers wind up winning Game 7 in an epic Stanley Cup final. So, again, we'll talk to Matthew Tkachuk about all things Stanley Cup.
We'll get him eventually here.
Yeah, we'll get him. But the Pirates are up currently 5-0 in the top of the 9th now as they move from the bottom of the 8th to the top of the 9th. 5-0 over the Cardinals. No offense, obviously, for the Cardinals today. 2 hits by Mason Wynn, 1 by Arenado, 1 double by Paul Goldschmidt, 1 by Lars Nootbaar and Pages. But they just haven't been able to string anything together. They've gotten guys on. There's one point, I think Wilson Contreras had the bases loaded, and they weren't able to score any runs. And Martin Perez worked in and out of jams throughout the course of the day today, and it looks like the Cardinals, unless they stage a 9th-inning rally here, they're going to fall to the Pirates. They're going to lose 2 of 3. And in my opinion, guys, despite the fact that last night it kind of had like a playoff feel to it, you're facing Paul Skenes, and you were able to manage that 9th-inning rally to win the game. You lose 2 of 3. I'm sorry, it's still got a bad taste in your mouth.
And not only 2 of 3, if they don't score any runs in this inning, you score 3 runs in 3 games. You lose the first game, you score 1 run. You win yesterday, you only score 2. But for 3 games set, you score 3 runs the entire series. And I think that's, there are some questions as they come down to this trade deadline. What moves are going to be possible, are going to be available, and what moves are they comfortable making, if any? Because, again, you would expect to be able to win a couple of more games by scoring, by allowing only 3 runs in the first 2 games. Obviously, today not the same, but 3 runs, if you don't score this inning, I don't know, Anthony, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You win games, Jamie. I know hockey's your thing, right?
Yes.
Football's mine, but I've been paying attention to baseball for a while. If you don't score, it's hard to win.
Yeah.
So, when I found out last week, I was blown away.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. When I get information, I like to pass it along.
Well, I appreciate that.
I love you guys. I want you all to be well informed.
No, and that's great stuff that you did pass along, Carey.
3 runs ain't going to get it done.
No, it's not. It's for me, it's a massive concern right now. Like they're hot and cold. You've got a ton of runs in the Braves series, and then nothing against Pirates. Mm-hmm. I understand you went up against 2 of their best pitchers. You had Keller and then Skenes, and things can be more difficult in those situations, but got to find a way to score some runs, man. Today, there's no excuse. Who's the guy on the bump for them today?
Martin Perez,
and he has not been good.
You're going to face great pitching in the postseason. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter. You could say, they took 2 of 3 to the Braves, and then they dropped 2 of 3 to Pittsburgh, but Mitch Keller and Paul Skenes. I'm sorry, this is the second half now. This second half of the season, you're going to face good pitching. And if you can't get it done, can't figure out ways to manufacture runs, especially late in the game like you did last night, to win a series, this is when these games don't count for extra. They count as much as it did in April. However, they hurt a lot more because you're running out of time. But, Marsh, maybe you have a different viewpoint on this because I know you really appreciated the way the Cardinals played last night in that game against Skenes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing what they did in the ninth inning. I think when you look at how the game goes, you can't just look at the first 8 innings. You have to look and see how we got to that point. I thought Michael Ciani took some great at-bats throughout the game that allowed him to see more pitches, which then allowed him to get that base hit, that leadoff base hit in the ninth inning. And then the team essentially played small ball, or ABC ball, as they called it on the broadcast last night. Mason Wynn, he's a rookie. I thought he had a pro at-bat. Goes down 0-2 in that count. 2 foul balls from the bunt, or missed the bunt, and then moves the runner over, right? That's a productive out that we talk about because Alec Burleson then comes up, gets the base hit, and he's been doing that a lot this season. So I thought the way that things looked in that ninth inning, I thought it was very impressive. Now, I say that you do need to score more runs in those 8 innings, and they didn't do that today. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, last night was great, but how do you follow it up? You follow it up with a goose egg, essentially.
And Matthew Liberatore, I don't know how you guys feel about Liberatore, but he goes 3 innings today, 5 earned runs allowed, 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 Ks. He has been solid out of the pen. When they've given him his opportunities to start, he's been uneven at best. He's been below average at worst, or he's just hasn't been competitive. I think that he's a reliever. And maybe it's still too early to declare what Matthew Liberatore is for the next X amount of years, but if you've got a spot start situation like today, I understand why they went with Liberatore. You've got different roster things. You don't know, you're trying to match up maybe somebody on 5 or 6 days rest in Memphis if you want to bring them up. Plus, they got to be on the 40-man. I get that. I understand why they went with Liberatore today. Hopefully, they won't need him again. Moving forward here. But this was another shot to him being a starter, in my opinion.
Yeah, not a good outing. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. Who was going to be, in this rotation and who isn't? And I think we talked about Palante, how well he's been performing, kind of earning his place in the starting rotation. The opposite probably could be said for Matthew Liberatore. When you're not performing at the level that is required consistently, the team is going to have to look at that and say, we traded for you with the expectation that you would be, at worst a number 3, I would think.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have you in kind of that reliever role. And so if he's good in that role, then you are able to salvage and say that trade wasn't terrible. But, if he's not good in any role, then you're a bit frustrated if you're the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals are part of the failure.
Really?
Yeah. I think the way they've handled him has been, suspect at best. You finally find a role for this guy where he's coming out of your bullpen. And then you keep jacking around. You put him as a starter one day and then back in the bullpen. And, what are we doing here? Honestly, if the Cardinals really think he's a starter, he should be down in Memphis right now. He should be down in Memphis starting once every 5 days until he can actually do it the right way. And if not, then he's got to be in the bullpen. Stop with the playing games here. They're treating Matthew Liberatore like he's a role player. Yeah. Just stick him in wherever. He's a guy that was a really highly touted prospect. Now, he may not get to what he was supposed to be. And maybe the scouting was wrong on him. It certainly looks that it might be at this point. But he's still a relatively young pitcher that you can still work with. I just don't get they throw him to the wolves. Yeah. It's almost like, okay, we got a crappy situation here. Hey,
had the role helps. You're a younger player, and he's still a younger player in numbers. You figure out exactly who you are, what you are, how you go about your business day to day. I'm going to ask you, and both of you, all of you, if his career trajectory, if it ended up being Andrew Miller, is that even though he's not the starter that maybe you expected, but he ends up being
has a career
on par or maybe a little bit even or a little bit less than what Andrew Miller is.
If he winds up being not the St. Louis Cardinals version of
No,
Andrew Miller, but
before he,
with the then Indians, with the Yankees. Sign me up for that.
But Andrew Miller, he started off as a starter as well, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of fell into that role, maybe because he was unable to handle the every fifth day. But finding a defined role of who you are, I think, is what allowed his career to be what it was. I think it's just like Jamie said, when you are thrown to the wolves, all right, your day. Didn't mean to hit you that hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
you're preparing. You're preparing.
You're a big, strong guy.
You're preparing me for the derby on Saturday.
Big strong guy. But
the player knows it though too. Carey, you know, as the player, you know it. I don't know how it would work in football, but I knew, like, I was a seventh defenseman.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have the pairings up on the board, and you'd be like paired up. The last pair would be three defensemen. You're like, okay. I'm one of the guys on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
So when they mess with you, though, or at one point in my career, I was playing forward. I was defense. I was playing forward. You can't get good at any one specific thing because you're just trying to survive in whatever role that they're plugging you in at. And that's what Liberatore. I think he's just trying to survive and stay in the big leagues by doing whatever the team needs, but at the same time, it's not helping him.
That's funny because one of the things I know in the NFL, we always hear, the more you can do, the more you can do, the more you can do. Yeah, the more I do, the more I find a way to not do that I'm really good at.
That's right. You're doing everything kind of good, but nothing great.
Nothing great.
Yeah.
They tell you that. You want to stay on, the more you can do. Okay, I'll play.
Right.
I'll play
30-some years old.
Yes.
Like, at the end of my career, I knew my niche was I'm a really good seventh defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me to play top 4 minutes for 5-6 games, I can do it. Or I can play 7 minutes. I don't care. I know my role. I'm going to be good at it. No problem.
At 23, not so much.
At 23, no. You don't want to be doing it. You don't want to be that guy.
Yep. But you also want to make sure that you figure out, I've heard you say this too, Jamie, and I completely agree. You also want to make sure that, okay, here's the answers to the test. This is what the team is asking me to do. So it's kind of a fine line.
If you're unable,
when you're older.
But if you're unable to provide what the team needs, like right now, the team needs another starter in the rotation.
Yeah.
Matthew Liberatore clearly cannot provide that right now.
Right.
So then, why mess with him?
I agree.
I'd put him in the pen and be like, dude, here's your role for this year.
Yes.
And we want you to crush it, and then we'll get back to work in the offseason. We do still think you're a starter. We're going to get there. But right now, we need you here.
And it might be a good role for him because you're questioning about JoJo Romero right now. He can be the guy that comes in. I don't know how much you trust John King to have a lefty in the bullpen to throw against some left-handed bat. There you go. Right, maybe that's the role he can strive in because he's able to go against those lefty batters and have that moment. But like Jamie said, I don't know that right now starting is in the cards for him. No pun intended.
Yeah. All right, it's fascinating on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals do fall today 5-0 to the Pirates. We'll have Brad Thompson on at the bottom of the hour, so we'll talk to him at 2:30. We're still trying to track down Matthew Tkachuk as well.
He was flying around today. He had to go to Toronto and stuff, so who knows?
Yeah, we'll get a hold of him at some point. So we hope to have Matthew Tkachuk on, and we'll keep you updated on that. But Brad Thompson, again, at the bottom of the hour. The Cardinals lose again, like we talked about here. We'll dive back into this game now that it's official. I want to ask you guys again, like, did this series kind of erase what you just accomplished against the Braves? Dive back into it next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, If you're listening out there and you're using ED meds, I guarantee you're probably paying too much for those ED meds. Stop doing that. Head over to the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. They have a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill, prescription required, of course. And maybe there's other medicines that you require on a regular basis. Maybe you have a crazy schedule and you can't get to the pharmacy. Well, the pharmacy can get to you. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles offers free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace, which is a fantastic program. I take full advantage of it, and my daughter's a diabetic. We are able to get her supplies delivered to the front door month after month after month because the Medicine Shop in St. Charles does a magnificent job of taking care of us. So please stop by the pharmacy in St. Charles. They're wonderful staff. They're going to help you with everything. But if you can't get there in person, please get there online. Visit them at stcharles.medicineshop.com. That's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling.
Cardinals fall today 5-0 to the Pittsburgh Pirates with Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. I think that, this is why you look back the last couple of days, they lose 2 of 3 to the Pirates. I realize they're facing good pitching, but this is why you can't play the schedule game. You're coming off the big series against the Braves in which you take 2 of 3. It's a team that's directly ahead of you in the wild card race. And you're like, okay, you got momentum. Boy, if they could just take 2 of 3 from the Pirates, and then you start playing the schedule game. Then you lose 2 of 3, and to me, you negated what you did in Atlanta. It doesn't really matter who the opponent is right now. You have to win series if you are going to catch the Brewers, who are down 2-1 in the top of the 4th right now in Chicago, or you're going to stay in this wild card mix.
Anthony, some would say the Cardinals are their toughest opponent right now.
I would agree with those some.
Yeah, because they can't get out of their own way. sometimes. No. And I'm not saying these games against Pittsburgh were easy. The Pirates are not the Pirates that we've known for the last little while. Mm-hmm. This team is an up-and-coming team, specifically at the pitcher position. But you did squeak out a win against a guy who hasn't lost a game yet in his career. You gave him his first career loss as a pitcher. Right. Now you had to grind away at that, and it was a one-run game. Yeah. You almost handed it back to him. Michael Ciani with an uncharacteristic bad play in the outfield, but then he makes up for it, gets on base, and gets cashed in by Burley. But you're right. It doesn't matter who the opponent is right now. The losses always, right now specifically, the losses negate the wins. Mm-hmm. You have to put a string of wins together. You can't be a win 2, lose 2, win 3, lose 2. You can't be that team, or you will find yourself on the outside looking in. Whatever team in this National League puts 5, 6, 7 games together, they're going to create some separation there.
Sure.
Or they're going to reel in teams that are ahead of them.
Hey, look, credit the Cardinals. We keep using Mother's Day as the barometer here. Credit the Cardinals for playing good baseball since that point. If you take a step back and just look at it from, the 200-foot view, the Cardinals have been a really good team since May whatever. When you start to zero in, though, and focus in on the last week or so, this is why I think a lot of people, a lot of Cardinals fans, are skeptical of how well this team will finish. Because to me, over the last 6 games, it's kind of a microcosm of what team you are. You're up and down. You're up and down, which is another way of saying you're kind of a slightly above average or an average team.
It's exactly how you say it.
Well, yeah, we talked about it. I talked about it last week. We've talked about it. The fact that you're so many games within first place, but you're also essentially that many games out of being in last place. If you're 4 games out of first, you're also 4.5 out of being in last. So you can't afford to go 5-5 in your last 10 when the Pittsburgh Pirates have gone 8-2 in their last 10. Mm-hmm. They're behind you, but they're chasing you down, and so we can continue to talk about, Mother's Day is the day. What have you done for me lately? Because that was a long time ago. And I know they're playing good baseball. They're playing right now, the last 10 games, I think they're playing okay baseball. You lose those games to Kansas City in the manner in which they did. They lost that series. You lost one to Chicago. And so to me, it's up and down right now. And maybe we are prisoners of the moment, but honestly, if you're the Cardinals, that's what matters most. Like, nobody really cares what happened in May, what happened in June. We're almost in August. And if you are unable to win games against division opponents, it's going to be a tough battle coming down the stretch.
Well, we're prisoners of the moment for both good and bad, though.
Correct.
You're right. So if we go back to Monday, we're also prisoners of the moment in a good way. Where we say, hey, you took 2 of 3 against Atlanta, even though they're banged up, this, that, and the other thing. Man, that's a great series. So it goes both ways when it comes to if we're going to talk baseball every single day, and we are here in St. Louis, then we're going to really focus in on a certain series. This is a lousy series.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't expect the team to win every game, though.
No,
right? And I think,
win more series than you lose.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Pirates. It's not like they're a terrible team by any means.
No,
they're not. And
my point in all this, Marsh, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, look, my point in this is it doesn't really matter who the opponent is. We can't overhype the win over Atlanta and then say, well, hey, Pittsburgh's a good opponent.
And maybe we shouldn't.
And maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe we shouldn't. And I don't want to cut you off, but maybe Atlanta is 3-7 in their last 10. Yeah. And then they just lost Ozzie Albies. They've had so many injuries that they are trying to overcome that maybe we're looking at Atlanta. Oh, they're first in the wild card. Are they a good team, though? I mean, they shot out of the gates and earned that first wild card spot because the Phillies are just playing out of their minds. It's hard to catch them. They were playing really well, but they've cooled off significantly here in the last month because they have had so many injuries. And again, they had another one in the last game against the Cardinals. I don't think the Atlanta I was going to say Falcons. The Atlanta Braves football is on my brain.
Yeah.
I don't think the Atlanta Braves are going to finish anywhere top 3 in this wild card because it's just too many injuries. So when you look at it from that perspective, maybe you say, those 2 wins against Atlanta, yeah, you should beat them because they're not going to end up being a really good team by the end of the season.
Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, I could argue that the doubleheaders screwed everything up for the Cardinals. How many doubleheaders have they played this year where they're throwing some, who knows, out there to, a bullpen game to start game 3, the game 3 afternoon game of whatever series. Like, it doesn't, those things are not in your favor. I think if you have your normal starting rotation, perhaps you do take this series, but it's just all circumstantial, at least for this week.
Do you believe that, though?
I believe a little bit of it.
You could also say that it worked in their favor when they had the Chicago game because they didn't have to face Shota and Managa that day. I mean, he was not in the series at all, and they were the series that you were frustrated about. So, granted, it has worked. It can work either way. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, granted, his next outing, he ended up getting shelled. So who's to say that the Cardinals wouldn't have done the same thing that the Brewers did against him?
So, Marshy, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But scoring 0 runs,
I understand.
It doesn't matter who's on the bump.
For sure.
Doesn't matter who you've got. Like, you scored, 1 run? 3 runs total this series.
Correct.
Yeah, not good enough.
No.
But it also, what I'm saying is, you throw a starter out there and you're down, 4 Cobb in the first few innings. We talked about it last year. Being down early, the offense feels like it's pressing. Maybe it's a completely different game. I'm not trying to make
the approach probably changes.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make like a full-blown excuse for the team. I'm just saying that there are certain things that potentially lead to why they end up losing this series. It's not the main reason why, but I think there are other factors that play into that other than them just not being playing good baseball.
Yeah. All right, that's Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're going to chat with Brad Thompson next. PT covering the game today at PNC Park. We'll get his observations on Matthew Liberatore and whether or not he sees certain things in Liberatore as a reliever that he doesn't as a starter. We'll get into that conversation and more with Brad Thompson next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's hot out there, and cooling your house is becoming more expensive than ever. Your old inefficient windows could be costing you hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Now, you may hear similar offers from other home improvement companies, but here's why you should trust Window Nation. Window Nation, they are truly window experts. Their professional installation team has over 10 years of experience, and they can get that window installed in 1 day or less. And right now, if you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free windows with 0 down, 0 interest, or payments for 24 months. They were recently ranked highest on Forbes' list, best installation company, so you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule a fast in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. Again, that's 2 windows, 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, 0 down, 0 interest, or payments for 24 months. It's easy. It's an in-home estimate. It's no trouble. Call 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com.
Grant Francis here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Yesterday, the Cardinals eked out a win over Paul Skenes and the Pirates 2-1. They gave Paul Skenes his first loss in the MLB, but today they fell 5-0, got shut out in Pittsburgh. Matthew Liberatore went 3 innings, 4 hits allowed, and 5 earned runs as the Cardinals lost 5-0 in the series finale in Pittsburgh. They're off tomorrow. They'll welcome in Washington on Friday for a 3-game series against the Nationals. To talk about all that, Brad Thompson is joining us next, so stay tuned for that. I'm Grant Francis. The Sports Center update's been driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Time for some high heat with Brad Thompson. Inside and high. Powered by Scott Lee Heating Company, your preferred Mitsubishi Electric elite contractor. Visit ScottLeeHeating.com and by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today.
There's no excuse for Thompson throwing at the head of play.
This is High Heat with BT on 101 ESPN.
Live from Centene Community Ice Center, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter, and we're going to head to the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. We're joined by our guy, Brad Thompson, 2006 World Series champion, on the broadcast today with Bally Sports Midwest. BT, tough one today at PNC Park as the Cardinals lose the series, and they lose the final game 5-0.
Guys, I got a feeling we need to stop talking on Wednesdays. We need to pick a new day. I think we haven't had good news the last couple of Wednesdays.
I'm with you on that. I almost opened with that. It just seems like the Cardinals it's like they lose, then we talk to you. It's like, okay, great, thanks. This is perfect.
Yeah, that is
perfect time to have BT.
Yeah, and they've been playing good baseball, too. That's like the maddening part of it, but it is what it is. It was a perfect storm because on paper you should have beat the brakes off of Martin Perez. That's what everybody else in the league has done. His last 2 starts, he had an 11 ERA, and yet he's given up 1 earned run now in, over 13 innings. To the Cardinals, has not allowed a home run. So, it was one of those perfect storm games. The old reverse lock, Anthony, just like beating Paul Skenes last night.
Right.
Take that.
Yeah, that's right. It's baseball, basically. Hey, BT, I want to start you off with this. Matthew Liberatore goes 3 innings, allows the 5 runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks. Are you seeing something, or can you provide us any insight when it comes? Because he's been very good as a reliever, not so much as a starter. And of course, we all want to create these narratives. You've pitched. Is there something that you're seeing in Matthew Liberatore's game that would indicate that he's more of a reliever than a starter?
No, not necessarily. Because even the way that he deployed his stuff today. Because if you look at the numbers for the year, he uses his slider more in the pen than he does as a starter, which is not an atypical thing. I mean, generally out of the pen, you're going to be trying to bury some sliders, try to get ahead with that thing. But I feel like he used that pitch today. It was just the command of it, and that's the biggest issue, right? For Matthew Liberatore and pretty much every pitcher that's out there. If you're getting ahead and you're commanding, then you're going to be okay. If you're not, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And what can you do in those type of spots? A lot like we saw Andre Palante in Game 1 of the series, who wasn't totally in command, but made some big pitches when he needed to. For me, I don't know what the future holds as far as the role goes for Matthew Liberatore. I know he's talented, big arm, lefty. I know that slider definitely plays. Coming into action, that slider of Matthew Liberatore's, the opposition was hitting 132 against it, and they had a 162 slug. I mean, that's a pitch that he really uses now. I would say secondary pitch, but it's his primary. He throws it more than he throws his fastball on the season. So there's not one thing, even in the way that he attacks. Because remember, last time he started against the Braves, he was slated to go 50, 55 pitches, a lot like today's game, and he ended up throwing 85 and giving you 6 scoreless against the Bravos. So it's just the consistency overall, I think, in the game of Matthew Liberatore. From a starting standpoint, you like having a big lefty that can throw multiple off-speed pitches that has velocity from that side. And from a bullpen standpoint, you love the fact that he is a guy that's a rubber arm that can throw almost every day. So it's just about being able to command stuff more often than not, and that's been the struggle.
BT, do you think that having the multiple roles for Matthew Liberatore, who's still a young pitcher and still developing at the major league level, do you think wearing all those hats can be more difficult for a guy to find his rhythm?
It can be, Jamie, for sure. You know this. Consistency is a heck of a thing. But my thing is with it, if you want a role, you have to take it. Like, you have to, go. If you want to be a starter, you got to take it. You got to make it so they can't take it away from you. A lot like Andre Palante has done a very good job of. Like, they gave him that chance. He's done a good job of seizing that role, although it wasn't pretty the other day. He gave you 6 innings and only gave up 1. And there is extreme value, and Matthew Liberatore, by the way, has the right mindset with this, in being a guy that can contribute in multiple ways. Like being that swing guy, you'd much rather be that swing guy in the big leagues than you would be that starter in the minor league. So I believe that there's value there also, but it comes down to the mindset. If you're somebody that will let that get to you of whatever that role is, the inconsistencies, then it'll be tough. I don't think that Libby is one of those guys, though.
BT, the Cardinals are right now 5.5 out of first place for the Brewers, chasing the Brewers down, but they are feeling like they're in a dogfight for this wild card. What do you think is going to take place towards the end of the season, and how is this all going to play out? Are they going to be able to hold off all of these teams that are chasing them down in the wild card?
Look, Carey, hold on real quick. I got to grab this real fast. I'm going to put this on. Homer hat. I put it on. No big deal. Sitting here at PNC Park overlooking this beautiful yard, and boy, this hat feels comfortable. And it says the Cardinals are going to win the division, is what it looks like. I still believe that. I still do. I still believe that they're going to chase down the Brewers. Brewers, I don't know the severity of it to this point, but are dealt a blow. Christian Yelich, who's having a renaissance season for them, he's got back issues yet again, so that's going to be a big blow for them. I still look at the bullpen usage for the Brewers. I mean, they use their bullpen more than anybody. That's going to catch up at some point. I'm not sure that they have the starting depth. Honestly, I don't know how they've won as many games as they have. That being said, the Cardinals aren't a perfect team either, but I believe that they're going to be able to track them down. And you're right, this wild card, it's a fight, man. It is a big-time battle, and that's why there's only 60 games left in the season. Like, you have no room to breathe. You have no room to have a down week or so. Like, it is pedal to the metal time, but I truly do still believe, and yeah, my homer hat's still on, that the Cardinals are going to end up winning this division.
A couple more things for Brad Thompson here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. BT, do you envision the Cardinals landing a starter and a reliever at the deadline? Could you see them, emerging with both?
I think they need both. Do I think they emerge with both? Not really. I don't. I think it's going to be one of those things where there are going to be so many teams that are going to be in on it. I think that the one that's going to be easier to land is obviously the bullpen piece. Those are just the easiest pieces to be able to bring in. Because I also don't think that they need another fifth starter. Like, they could go out there and make a trade for somebody like that, and I don't want to throw any names out, but like, you want to have something that you know is way better than you. To me, if you're going to add to this rotation, if you're going to go out and make a push for this team rotation-wise, you need somebody that's pitching closer to the front of the rotation than the back of the rotation. Right now, if you were going into a postseason game, guys, number one is going to be Sonny Gray. Who's your number two right now going into the postseason? You've had everybody fresh.
Gibson.
Kyle Gibson.
Kyle Gibson, right? And we all love Kyle Gibson. Friend of the show, friend of the station, great big leaguer. I feel like Kyle would be, and he'd give you a great chance. I think that if you're going to add to this rotation, though, you'd rather add somebody that could pitch that game two for you in a postseason series. But I'm not sure what the asking price is going to be, or the willingness organizationally, prospect capital-wise, or even monetarily to go out and get that guy. So I see them adding to the bullpen. I'm sure they're kicking down all the doors and they're answering all the phone calls and making all the phone calls when it comes to the rotation. But if I just had to bet on what they're going to land, I'm saying they add to the pen.
BT, a little bit of a concern, well, for me, is some of the erratic play of the offense. You have all that offense against the Braves, and then you put up 3 runs in 3 games against the Pirates. Any concern there? And what did you see this series that wasn't there offensively?
Paul Skenes was one of them that I saw.
Yeah.
And boy, he's going to be an interview at some point. I found myself in the press box, Cardinals press box, during the break when he ran back out for the 9th inning. I think I was cheering too. Like, it was like something fun to actually see in the game of baseball, a young guy going out for the 9th inning. But you know what? there's going to be ebbs and flows when it comes to the offense. But this has been the season. Like you look at the way that this has gone offensively overall for the Cardinals. They're not near the top of the league. Their pitching has been keeping them in it. It's been timely hitting. The runners in scoring position has got a lot better in the last couple of months. So, yeah, the inconsistencies of the offense, not just like on this road trip or in this series, but overall, they are concerning. Like you still have, and we'll beat this horse until this horse needs no more beating, which is a terrible thing. I don't know who would beat a horse.
Don't do that.
Don't beat a horse, BT.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't kick a dog.
None of those things.
Don't swing a dead cat. Like there are a lot of these. I don't know where we came up with these, but Goldie's got a Goldie. Arenado's got an Arenado, and we saw Arenado hit that home run off of Skenes. That was great to see. Goldie has had his struggles. May hit a double today. Struck out 3 times in the ball game yesterday. You're going to need those guys to do their thing. But the offensive inconsistencies overall, I think that is one of the most puzzling things about this team.
BT, we'll let you go, man. We know you're trying to get out of Pittsburgh right now. We appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday unless the Cardinals lose, and we'll talk to you after a win.
Yeah. It'll be a rain check if they lose. Okay, we're gonna.
There you go. Sounds good.
I enjoy talking to you guys. And Jamie, if you got a camp for a 42-year-old who's not a strong skater but he's got a high motor, you let me know over there at Synergy.
Yeah, we're working on that. Adult camp coming soon, BT. I'm serious.
Clear it, camp.
No, not the clear
There's
camp.
going to be a keg at the end of it.
No, absolutely. The keg race.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right, BT. See you, buddy. See you, man. That's Brad Thompson, World Series champ, Valley Sports and West color analyst for the Cardinals. All right, Matthew Tkachuk will join us next. We'll talk to the Stanley Cup champion next on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter back with you for Mosby Building Arts. Whether you have a huge project like you're undergoing a complete remodel in your kitchen, or you're wanting to do something small, maybe you want to redo your laundry room, either way, Mosby Building Arts, they need to be your first call. You may go to one of those big box stores, or you may try to price everything out, going to different contractors, and perhaps you get a price that you feel comfortable with. But then your project starts and it's delayed, or maybe there's a company or a contractor that doesn't show up. They get a different bid that's higher, and they leave you in the dust. That's why you go with Mosby Building Arts. You know that the project will be done right the first time. And when I'm talking about project, again, we're talking about kitchen remodel. We're talking about bathroom remodel. Something smaller, though, laundry room. We're having Mosby Building Arts take a look at some back doors for us. We got an issue going on right now with the back doors and some water coming in. They knew exactly what was going on, exactly how the house was built, and exactly what they need to do to fix the issue for us. Mosby Building Arts is the team that we trust. We love working with them. You will, too. Give them a call. Whatever you need when it comes to redesigning your home, upgrading your home, or taking advantage of the space that's available, call Mosby Building Arts. They're incredible. Tell them Stalter sent you as well, and you can visit them online, mosbybuildingarts.com. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN with former Blues defenseman Jamie Rivers and Super Bowl champion. You'll be a World Series champion at some point, Carey.
Maybe at some point.
There's no doubt about it. Super Bowl champion Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane, and we are thrilled to be joined by a Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis's very own, via the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line, Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew, congratulations on the Stanley Cup, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's always fun talking with you boys.
So a little trouble with the airlines today, Matthew? Is that what the problem was?
Yeah, a little trouble out of a flight where that's what happens when somebody else books my flights for me. So I've got a little trouble out of the flight from Miami, but we adjusted, and we're going to get out a little later here tonight in Lauderdale. But got a little trip up north for just a one-day trip, so in and out.
Well, whoever organized it for you, tell them that we're flying private now. We're not doing that commercial stuff. We're Stanley Cup champion now, baby, right?
That would be nice. Hey, when they're paying for it, they get to pick.
Just have Big Walt pay for it. He's fine.
Yeah, we're past that stage with him.
Hey, Matthew, I want to go back to last year because I absolutely love the story of your Stanley Cup championship following last year where, correct me if I'm wrong, but your injury, did you break your sternum in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, fractured my sternum, so it made that whole loss and just the recovery. It all added up, and it just sucked.
Yeah, so that's where I want to start with you is I don't want to say you're at a low point, but it's pretty low because you're hurting and it's awful pain and you just lost the Stanley Cup. You know, how long did it take to get through that? And then, when did you start thinking about, next year? I can't wait for next year because that's when we're going to do it.
Well, it was so different with last year because I knew that I played my last game before, our season was even over. When I played that game 4 against Vegas, I knew that, physically I could not do, one more game of that. I just couldn't do it. So I had that sour taste, personally, just not being able to be out there. And then just watching that game 5 unfold, and, they took it to us pretty good and just not, I don't know, it just did not sit well watching that game. So now going into this coming season, I probably didn't get fully healthy and ready to go till maybe right before camp. So I had to deal with all that on top of the frustration, mentally dealing with the loss. So last summer really did suck, looking back on it. But this summer's been a hell of a lot better.
We can imagine, that's for sure. Matthew Tkachuk joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So, Matthew, fast forward. You just said, hey, this summer's been a lot better. Take us behind the curtain, though. We're watching it. Epic Stanley Cup this year. You guys jump out to a three-cob lead there. Oilers come storming back. You know who's on the other side with Connor McDavid, and they're playing with house money. How did you and the rest of the leadership core with the Panthers keep everybody calm going into that Game 7?
Well, to your point about them playing with house money, I mean, they're playing with house money until Game 7. But once it gets to Game 7 and they're one game away from, winning it, or they're one game away from fighting all the way back and losing it and only winning 15 games, that's a lot of pressure on them. Their whole family's flying in. They got all the distractions. I really felt that in that Game 7, even though people might think that I'm, an idiot making this up, but I really did feel like I don't call it pressure, but more of just the extra stuff switched to them, more of the focus on stuff that, isn't in the 60-minute game is focused on them, and they have more to deal with and, more of the logistics. And it does take a lot out of you. It's sometimes just unneeded stuff. So I felt like that Game 7, we came out, and I remember talking to a bunch of the boys after the game, at Game 6 in Edmonton. If you would have given the returning guys a piece of paper in Vegas after that Game 5 and said, you have no idea how you're going to get it there, but if you sign this piece of paper, you'll get to host a Game 7 at home next year. Would you sign it? Doesn't matter who you're playing, would you sign it? And everybody was like, hell yeah, we would. So kind of went in with that mindset. Went in with that mindset. Like, are you kidding me with this opportunity right now? Like, would we have liked, to be partying already and winning? Yes. But, we got one job to do, and we have to win one game. And that series, even though we won the first three and they won the next three, like, the ebbs and flows, like, it was a very even series, I felt. Like game 1, they probably should have won. Game 5, we probably should have won. But at the end of the day, it's a best of 7 for a reason, and ultimately, unless something crazy happens, the better team normally wins. So I felt that we played better in majority of the games and deserved to win it.
Matthew, obviously you guys had a strong leadership group in the room as far as the players are concerned. Some really good guys there. But how instrumental was Paul Maurice in this? Because he's a guy who had never won a Stanley Cup before. He'd been coaching for 30 years or whatever it is. A very accomplished coach. I love Paul Maurice personally. I've known him since I played junior hockey. But how instrumental was he in this, and how was he able to navigate guiding you guys the proper way?
It was a really good message coming from him at the start, and we used it a lot and really took it to heart. But just win your day. Game day, you win or you learn. Practice days, you win that day. Recovery days, you win that day. Travel days, you win it. You somehow do something better than the team you're playing against or the individuals that you're playing against. And I felt that was really like a clear mindset for us and allowed us just to like have fun each day and just make the most of it. His messages, his messaging and his speeches and everything, he finds a way to get the most out of everybody. Whether you're, the first line center or the 6D, like he knows exactly what to do to get the most out of you. I think that's a great quality to have in a coach, and we're very lucky to have him.
Now, Matthew, you all go through all that. You win Game 7, and you get to bring the Stanley Cup home to St. Louis, and you were able to travel and take it to your high school and take it to the Children's Hospital. Tell me about that moment, because I know sometimes what you did for those kids was something that they'll never forget, but that moment probably also felt really special for you to be able to give that moment to them. Yeah, I remember, I was only told I was the second player to get the cup. So I was told about my cup day a week and a half before. So that's a lot of planning, for 9 or 10 days or however, I literally was told on a Monday and then I had it the next Wednesday afternoon. So kind of crazy how fast it came. But the number one thing that I wanted was to take it to the Children's Hospital. We have a very, close connection to the hospital. I've worked in years past, even going back to my time in Calgary. It's special to our family. My dad did a lot of work with them when he played. It's just something that I felt was, the number one thing that I wanted to do. And even though, it wasn't, it was only for, an hour or so, we were able to put so many smiles on kids' faces, and that's what it's all about. We have no idea what some of these kids go through. And just to see how happy they were and how they felt on top of the world, for that, however long we were there was truly something special. And that's kind of why you play the game. It's kind of why, one of the big perks of winning is to see the reactions of the cup and just have this honor and privilege to be in the position that I'm in. And I just wanted to share it with as many people as possible.
Matthew Tkachuk joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN. Matthew, even though, that was so well said, even with that, is it surprising to you when you have the cup day or you're sharing it or you're doing the celebration, how much it means to the fans or how much it means to the city, even of St. Louis, to watch you win it when you're presenting the cup to somebody? Is that even still shocking, where it's like, wow, this means something beyond the players and the team itself?
You just said it right there. I've realized through this whole thing, first and foremost, you do it for your brothers in the room and, the organization and everybody that's putting those crazy hours, during the season and all the cross checks and all that. Like, you do it for those guys. It's a grind to win, and you do it for your brothers. But I've learned that it's not just about that. It's about everybody. It's about all your family and friends that have supported you this whole time, and it's about getting to celebrate it with them and giving them the moment, to enjoy it with you. Like I was super lucky that it came in on Wednesday afternoon for me, and I got it till Thursday night, so I was able to have it for a good amount of time. And the amount of people that I came across and the reactions were all the same. And that is what's so cool about this, is like people that don't know hockey, people that live and die by hockey. Like, it doesn't matter. The Stanley Cup is the craziest, most amazing thing ever. And it's just so cool to see the reactions and so cool to share it with the people that are closest to me. And it's really what it's all about.
So, Matthew, I tracked your journey with the Cup while you're here in St. Louis, and you got so much accomplished, man. I mean, hat tip to you for being able to squeeze all that in there, and I'm sure the people that helped you organize it. But lo and behold, it ends up to where you have the Tkachuk Stanley Cup party at night. And I've been to a few Cup parties. I kind of know what to expect. I walk in, and I knew that this was a Tkachuk party immediately as people were slamming down beers and having a great time, and everybody's drinking out of the cup. But how awesome was that for you to see all those people? Because, I knew a lot of those people too, but all the kids you played hockey with, former teammates, people who helped you along the way, friends and family, and all of that culminating in one moment in that room to celebrate your Stanley Cup championship. How neat was that?
Yeah, it was incredible. It really was. And looking back, I probably, I probably could have had double the amount of people that were there. It's just the amount of support I've gotten since this has all happened has been incredible. But yeah, that kind of was the cherry on top for the day and a half that I had. It was so amazing. It was great to see how excited everybody was. To just how many people, it makes you realize how many people watch, the games or support me, throughout the whole year. And, just the amount of people that came up to me, that I've never even met before when I had the Cup, when I would get some places, that said, we watched every single one of your playoff games. And, we were immediately, once the Blues season was over, we turned over and we're full on the Panthers team. Our kids have your jerseys, stuff like that. That's why I love St. Louis, is how kind of tight-knit the community is and how everyone really supports each other that's from there. I thought that the whole, myself and Jason both going after our first championships at the same time in the same year when there really wasn't anything else going on in sports in the St. Louis area. I thought that was super awesome for us. And just to see the support and how everybody kind of just hopped on and was a huge fan of mine and the Panthers is one of the coolest parts.
Matthew, you win Game 7, and that's an emotional moment. Everyone is so excited. You got to share that with a player like Vladimir Tarasenko, who I'm sure you grew up watching while he was here in St. Louis. But was there one teammate that you all just went to, or one person on the staff that you were so happy to finally win that championship and you wanted to share that moment with them?
Well, I felt very lucky because – and this is a big thanks to Vladdy, but, it obviously is kind of like a pecking order and, years you've been around or games player, however it goes. And Vladdy was so amazing just by letting, everybody who hasn't really won go ahead of him that were older guys. And Sam Bennett it was his turn with the Cup, and Vladdy was up next, and I was going to go after Vladdy. And I went up to Vladdy, and I was like, this would, you would mean a lot if I could get it from Benny after all the years we played together in Calgary. And, I've played with him pretty much every single year except for one. So it'd mean a lot. And he's like, absolutely, you go ahead. So I got to get the Cup from Benny, who is one of my best friends in hockey and who I played with forever. And then I got to hand the Cup off to Vladdy, who was one of my favorite players growing up. So it was super cool. I felt like the luckiest guy. Just a surreal moment in my life that, it's one that I'll just absolutely never forget.
Well, Matthew, I can tell you this, that when those final seconds ticked down, there was some emotions going on in the Rivers house. I was so happy for you because of all the work that you have put in over the years. To get to where you are. I was so happy for your family because I always brag about how amazing your family is and all of the kids that have worked so hard. So thank you very much for coming on here today. Appreciate you always, my friend. And try to enjoy this summer and get ready to get back to maybe do a repeat for us.
Yeah.
I would love that more than anything. Thanks for having me on, as always, guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Take care. Jamie, you had – we always talk about the exception, right? The exception to the rule. And in football, any conversation regarding a quarterback would like Brady. Oh, you got to throw Brady out, right? Matthew Tkachuk is the exception to the rule, like anything. And I remember, would you trade this? Would you trade that? Whatever. And if it was Matthew Tkachuk, the answer was always yes. Trade for Matthew.
Whatever
Tkachuk.
they want.
His play is reason enough to say that. To listen to him talk and have this greater understanding of hockey, the history of hockey, what it means to be a Tkachuk, what it means to give back to a community, what it means to be, not born here but from St. Louis. He's a complete package. And I know Brady's the same way, so I don't want to minimize his brother.
The entire family.
Unbelievable.
Anthony, I'm telling you, I've said this so many times. Chantal and Keith Tkachuk have done incredible stuff with their children. From the moment they're running around the rinks, Taryn, their sister, got drug around the rinks too. Super polite, hardworking, always say hi to everybody, always say thank you, always say please, like unbelievable stuff. And it's never changed. And this is the one thing that Chantal and Keith instilled in all their children is now, even though they've reached a stardom, including Taryn, who's an incredible field hockey player, they recognize everybody around them. There's nobody beneath them.
Yeah.
And it just shows. They walk into a room, and the room lights up.
Yeah.
Like Matthew walks into the rink in Florida, and people are so happy to see him.
Yeah.
Brady, same way in Ottawa. I saw it with my own eyes. People just love them. They gravitate to these guys. They're natural-born leaders, and it's all thanks to what Chantal and Keith Tkachuk were able to do with these kids as youngsters, keeping them grounded, keeping them appreciative of all the things that they have. They never acted like they were sons of an NHLer. Never acted like they had money. They never acted like they were better than anybody. In fact, what they did is they worked harder than every other kid around them because they wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he is the complete package. Florida is lucky to have this player.
There's no doubt about it. That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. We'll recap a little bit of the Cardinals game. Get back on clock here. Cardinals lose 5-0 to the Pirates. We'll share some takeaways on that next on 101 ESPN.
If you are in the market for replacement windows, please take the time and call my friends over at Window World. They are the best in the business, and they're also the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Let's not forget that the quality of the product, too, is incredible. They've got that double-strength glass that is not commonly found in replacement windows, and sometimes, it's the breakage that's the problem. Sometimes it's the efficiency of the hot summer air leaking into your home or the cold winter air seeping in through the windows. Not with Window World windows. They keep that stuff out, and the efficiency is fantastic, and that means you keep more money in your wallet, which is why they are simply the best for less. Window World also has tremendous customer service. The representatives get out to your home. They measure the windows properly. Then those windows are custom ordered for your home and then installed with perfection. And then they stick around and answer any other questions that you might have. So please, without question, give them a call. And don't forget that right now they're offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. That phone number, again, 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
You're listening to The Fast Lane, live from Blues Youth Camp. Brought to you by E&B Granite, Bernie Federko's only choice for granite countertops, cabinets, and flooring.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. After
You have
talking
to strap that up. You got to be dialed in. I need you to be
I don't know if that, does that work?
Can you hear us? As long as you can hear us.
I can't hear you.
Anthony, you look great. You
Well,
look
here,
like
let
you're
me help
about to go on the ice right now.
Well, here's the
There you
thing.
go.
After
There
talking
you
to
go.
Matthew Tkachuk, who's now my new favorite human being ever,
You're ready to roll.
I want to be him. So I think we get me training.
I've never played hockey. That helmet looks a little too small for you. Is that too small, Jeff?
That's helmet Bolderis.
That is helmet Bolderis.
I think it's a little small.
Let me see.
Not that your head is too big, but the helmet.
Yeah. That's a little snug,
It's a little
Anthony.
snug.
It's a
Well,
little
let's
snug.
just get me the right equipment and get me on the ice, get me in front of the net, and I'll get it
Net
done.
front presence.
You'll be just fine. Did we try to do
You got to
this?
strap it on. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Strap the helmet up.
Yeah. So
Gary, you have to be specific on this show.
oh, Jesus.
Clearly. Is it too tight?
A little bit. It's kind of feeling good.
Usually we wait for night.
Oh, there we
All
go.
right, there we go. Nice. I feel good.
You look good.
Thank you.
Please tune into the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I
right
don't know
now.
how long this
By the way,
is
yeah, the people on the radio probably have no idea what's going on.
No,
Anthony
no,
has
we're
a
in a helmet.
hockey helmet on right now.
It's a little snug.
It's a little
very
snug,
snug.
but you know what? You gotta protect the dome.
You sure do.
It's well protected.
You sure do, Anthony.
Especially you should protect the dome. Like
Yeah.
you run into tables and pool sides.
You'd have to play old school though, because if we take a look, if we threw a visor on there, there
It'd
might be
it
it might be
cut
a
his face.
tight squeeze there.
Yeah.
No, Anthony's grandfathered in. He doesn't
understand
need
what
the he doesn't need the shield.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah, it looks
All
like a modern day Ryan O'Reilly.
Jamie, and be nice. Be nice when I ask this.
Even though I guess he's still playing. but-
Right.
Modern day.
How many hours do you have to put in with me for me to become Matthew Tkachuk?
Oh,
We're gonna be a while.
I said be nice.
110,000.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get started tomorrow. Let's get started tomorrow.
I don't think that's enough.
So, guys, we're joking.
Wow, Carey.
Respectfully.
Thanks.
We're joking about
seems
this,
like it's
but
respectfully.
we all talked in the break too, just for our
he's
listeners.
taking the helmet off, about to drop the mitts.
Oh yeah.
Better pick those up. We let that 2 seconds of stupidity ruin the rest of your life.
Whatever.
No, guys, to kind of recap the Matthew Tkachuk conversation, and we all said the same thing. We hit the break. We're like that guy's just.
It's one of my favorite interviews.
It was awesome. He had great perspective on things. He had great information, and for me, it was just you could hear him thinking in his head and envisioning what he was going through that period of time, and it was really, you said, oh, let's get a peek behind the curtain, and boy, did he ever do that for us.
Yeah, I loved what he said too. That was, I mean, what a way to turn that around, because I had said, you know, the Oilers are playing with house money. That now they're coming to Game 7, and the way he flipped that, and I meant it. He meant it. He was genuine. He's like, actually, they were playing with house money until Game 7, which
Pressure
makes a
was
lot
on
of
them.
sense.
They hadn't had a chance to win the series until then.
They had no pressure
There's
until
a
then.
level of pressure when you are actually have a chance to be a world champion. Like,
Right.
Oh, God, I can be a champ if I win this game. And he talked about the logistics of flying family members in
Right.
and having to get tickets and things that people were, I'm not going to the game where they're going to lose the championship. I don't want to be there, but you got a chance to win. Oh, yeah, everybody wants to be there. So,
Right.
Yeah, you could hear it. It was a great interview. I thought he did a great job.
He was authentic, genuine, just, I mean, a great dude.
Guys, it should have been a blue. Let's just
Should have been a blue. Yeah.
Should have been a blue.
I think we all were thinking
we
the
were-
same
yes.
thing.
Yeah.
In fact, the text line, a lot of them were texting and saying
Yeah.
he should be a blue.
Be a blue with a lifetime contract.
Yes.
Full no movement.
Yeah.
Sorry, Army, you're gonna have to bite the bullet on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is he has a brother.
Yeah.
who probably is the exact same way.
He definitely is.
Yes.
He's not going in.
All right, so
Now, Ottawa's not letting that. You talk cold, dead hands. Steve Stais right now in Ottawa's got the Vulcan death grip on Brady Tkachuk.
yeah, I don't blame him at all on that. All right, it's Fast on 101 at ESPN. If the Cardinals screwed it up with Matthew Liberatore, or, I mean, can you point to one current Cardinal right now and say, actually, Liberatore just hasn't taken advantage of his opportunities? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
If you are looking to save money on your car or your home insurance, Allstate and the Bibb Agency, they are the best in the business. And one thing about Tracy and the Bibb Agency, they'll work with you to make sure that you have the right type of coverage for when something happens. Because let's be honest, it's not if something happens, it's when something happens. And when that something does happen, if you don't have the proper coverage, you could be in big trouble. And maybe you don't understand the steps to take. You get a little fender bender, you're on the side of the road, you're not sure how to handle things. Don't worry about it. The Bibb Agency is right there. They're one phone call away from you, and they're going to walk you through the process. I've been through it with my kids. Fender bender, they call Tracy. They're on the side of the road. They're stressed out. The stress goes away because the Bibb Agency takes great care of them. And all you have to do is give her a call. For a free non-committal quote, it's real easy. Just call her at 314-328-4260. That's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Strap yourself in. You're in the fast lane, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling on 101 ESPN.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. The Cardinals dropped Game 3 against the Pirates today, 5-0. In a game that Matthew Liberatore had a spot start in, he did not pitch well. We talked about this at the start of the show. I don't think he's a starter. Maybe he transforms into one, but this season, I realize it's a spot start, so it's not like this is a huge deal, but he needs to be put in a spot, especially at this point in the season where it's second half and everybody's got to assume their roles and the coaching staff has got to put these guys in the best spots to succeed. Matthew Liberatore's got to stay in the pen. And, Jamie, I thought you brought up some really good points about how, the Cardinals and maybe a lack of development they're almost at faults to some degree with Matthew Liberatore. I would counter with he also hasn't taken advantage of his opportunities as a starter. Look at what Alec Burleson has been able to accomplish. They gave him a list of things to do in the offseason, and he accomplished all of them. He had an opportunity to start, and he has not looked back. In fact, he's hitting second in the lineup right now. So I guess I'll ask you guys, at what point do we shift from, yeah, you know what, they didn't develop him right, to the guy didn't take advantage of his opportunities?
Yeah, I think we're ways from that yet. I think that I don't think the opportunities have been ample enough for us to say that Matthew Liberatore hasn't taken advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Now, the flip side of that is people say, well, he hasn't forced his way onto the scene either. Yeah. Like BT said, you got to kind of kick the front door in and be like, hey, I'm here to take advantage of my opportunity.
No doubt.
But I do feel like the Cardinals have mismanaged Matthew Liberatore to a certain extent, the same way I feel like they've mismanaged Dylan Carlson from the standpoint. Dylan Carlson's not playing good baseball right now, but whose fault is that ultimately? You say, oh, blame the player, but look at the beginning of his career. The pandemic year, they brought him up too soon, then they sent him back down, they brought him up, and then he was an effective player, then he was a non-effective player, he didn't really know, didn't have a position, he was just an outfielder. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not a great way to develop your impact young players. I'm not going to say star young players, but that's what he was predicted to be.
He was.
When you got a president of baseball operations says, from my cold dead hands, like, you, at least the organization is projecting you to be a star of some kind. And when Matthew Liberatore was traded for with the Randy Arozarena trade, John Mozeliak said, we've got ourselves a bona fide starter in the rotation. Like, this guy's going to he's going to shove for us. He's going to play really well. But he hasn't really been given the opportunity. Now, again, he also could have pitched better. But my argument goes back to, if you're really trying to develop this guy, send him back to Memphis. Mm-hmm. Give him a start every 5 days. Let him find a groove. Like, BT talks about the slider. Great. Develop the slider. Let's develop another pitch. You're down here in AAA. It doesn't matter. Now's the time to get comfortable so that when you go back to the majors, we don't see you again.
Yeah.
But the role that he's been given, it's weird. It's kind of like they want him to be on the major league roster, and this isn't necessarily true, it's just my opinion, to justify the trade. To where, like, well, Liberatore's on the major league roster. I mean, we have a major league player here, but you're just plugging him in wherever you need him. Oh, we need him in the sixth inning. Great. Oh, so-and-so blew up in the second inning. Lance Lynn gave up 9 runs. Well, Liberatore, you're going to go and pitch 4 innings for us in the middle of the game.
Right.
And by the way, tomorrow you're going to come in out of the bullpen again and pitch 1 inning. And then 4 days from now, you're going to be our bullpen day starter of that game. Like, it's all over the map.
Yeah.
And you do that sometimes with star players, plug them in wherever because they can handle it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you do that necessarily with a guy who really hasn't established himself in one particular role yet.
Yeah.
Or you do that with veteran players as well, guys that have been around the block for a while that are, maybe been on a few teams and still working their way through it. I agree with you, Jamie. Having a young player trying to figure out what role he's in or what his job is from day to day, it can be difficult. And I don't know when a player is told, hey, you're starting on this day. I don't know if it's 5 days out. I don't know if it's 2 days out. Right. I don't know when you get that information. But I would have to assume that your routine is different if you know in 5 days I'm going to start. I can handle that like it's a regular rotation type of deal. Whereas if I was in the bullpen 2 nights ago and I'm going to start in 2 days, maybe that's a little bit different. So at the end of the day, he does have to perform when given that opportunity because that's your livelihood. Like, you're getting an opportunity to start. You have to perform. But I think it would also help if you got some help, some run support. Like, you get 0 runs, it doesn't matter, and like Marshy said earlier, well, you give up 4 runs early in the first couple of innings, it might change the approach of the team. But it helps if you get some run support also. So, it goes both ways.
Yeah, I think they put him in situations, at least from a starting standpoint, because when they do use him in relief, he's been pretty good. Like, he's been fine, and I think that should be his defined role. But when you put him in situations like this, and then you put out a squad with Dylan Carlson in center field, Dylan Carlson's not a center fielder. And
Sure he is.
Well, today would say otherwise.
No, he played, what position did he play today?
Playing center field.
There you go. He's a center fielder, huh, Jamie?
That doesn't mean he should be there. That's like making a guy who can't play shortstop make him play shortstop.
I knew right where he was going.
I don't know why that happens that way. I mean, we automatically know what he's talking about, but I didn't.
Somebody.
What are you guys talking about?
Somebody played shortstop that
shouldn't have.
I'm sure there's been a few people.
What do they get?
Maybe I'll take some ground balls at
I don't.
Should
we talk to?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes they go to third base because shortstop is taxing. If they got strong enough arm,
that arms has to be strong.
Yeah.
If they aren't strong enough in arm, then they generally go to second base.
Yeah.
Not that that's a demotion.
No.
It's just a position different other than shortstop on the infield, guys.
Well said, Carey.
Yeah.
Well said.
What are you guys referring to?
No, I'm
just throwing it out there in the ether. I think, it could happen for any player. It could happen.
I just realized why we don't look Anthony in the eyes.
It could be at the youth level.
What?
It could be at the major league level.
Collegiate.
Fast.
It could be, hell, it happens to players, the Cardinals. It happens to players,
Are you crying?
That go to Central Michigan.
You're laughing so hard you're crying?
I am.
Over my misery?
He locked eyes with me, and I was like, oh, rule number 3.
That's rule number 1.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, well, no, it's rule number 3. You're right.
Number 3.
You're right.
Rule number 1 in the office. Or Centene. In life.
I never mentioned any names, so I don't know why you guys are jumping to conclusions right now.
NCAA'd it. You're like,
there's a lot of insecurity at this table right now.
You did the NCAA thing. You're like, we'll have the jersey number.
Yeah.
The jersey, we'll put it in the stores. But that's not necessarily your jersey.
Wait, I mean, they changed it.
Your likeness.
The new video game has has all the names now. I don't know what you're talking.
I'm bothered by that, too.
But anyways, Matthew Liberatore, back to that.
Yeah.
I think both things can be true. The Cardinals have somewhat screwed him up, but he also needs to deliver when he's called upon because that's his damn job, as Carey likes to say.
That's right. We're going to play Prove Me Wrong next. If you have a Prove Me Wrong statement where you want us to prove you wrong, send it in now to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. We'll play Prove Me Wrong next.
Stella Artois and Hot Ones are partnering up to bring you hot wings and hot trivia questions around the St. Louis area. There have already been a few of these events, 3 of them so far, and they have been super fun. Lots of people showing up, just a great time. And right now, you can still sign up to compete. They've got those little cards at the tables at the Hot Shots or Cyberg's locations. You just take a picture of that QR code and sign yourself up, or you can just show up. Sign up where you're right there on the premises, and make sure you join Scott Rizzuto at Hot Shots in Fenton this Thursday, July 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. They'll be competing with the Stella Artois Hot Ones Trivia Challenge for a chance to win an awesome St. Louis staycation, which is the grand prize. Or how about you just come and hang out? You don't have to compete. Show up. Have a great time. They had all the sauces out there. They're letting people sample all that stuff. Some of them are really, really hot, but it's okay. You've got the Stella Artois sitting right there to wash it all down and have a great time. And there's also attendance prizes. So please come out, join Scott Rizzuto at Hot Shots in Fenton this Thursday, July 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. Or you can always visit 101ESPN.com.
Grant Francis here with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Cardinals picked up a win yesterday against Paul Skenes, handing him his first loss of his MLB career. 2-1 victory for the Cardinals yesterday, but today they suffered a 5-0 loss in the series finale in Pittsburgh. Matthew Liberatore went 3 innings pitched, 4 hits and 5 earned runs allowed. And though the Cardinals out-hit Pittsburgh 6-5, they got shut out and fell 5-0 in the series finale. They're off tomorrow. They'll welcome in the Nationals on Friday for a 3-game set against Washington. I'm Grant Francis. The Sports Center update's been brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, time to play Prove Me Wrong here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. This is where you send in a statement, and then the law firm of Rivers, Stalter, and Davis. And is it now Marsh?
Yep, I'm joining.
He's joining.
All right, Marsh for the day
We're like,
here.
we're like the show Suits. We just keep adding names.
That's right.
Or taking them off and adding them.
Yeah. So Marsh is going to join us, and Grant Francis is going to be the judge. Is that correct, Grant?
That's right. I'm excited.
Grant, I have to say that you look incredible today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamie, you look better. Looking at you right now, you look better.
Right.
I like that. Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
All right, so, Grant, what's our first case?
Oh, I come up with the cases here.
Yeah.
You grabbed the Prove Me Wrongs from the text line.
You know what? Hey, Grant, we'll let you. We'll give you a second to do that. But can I address something on the text line?
No.
So, thank you. 870 said, Anthony, you just made a comment, this goes back to the last segment, that look what Alec Burleson did in the offseason. He wasn't even going to make the Cardinals starting day roster. If Tommy Edmonds was healthy, if he was healthy, is taking advantage of it. Yes, but please don't compare him. That's a joke. And I responded. I said I compared situations, not players. There's a difference. And the guy responded and said, that's your opinion. No, it's a fact. I didn't compare Alec Burleson to Matthew Liberatore.
No.
I compared the situation.
The situation, taking advantage of what you've given.
Exactly. A door opened.
Injuries.
Right.
Or just good play.
Yeah,
Burleson had a good bat in spring training to the point where right away people were like, okay, it's going to have to be somebody else.
Yeah. I think the joke would be to compare the two players, but if that happened, you would have been right. I didn't compare the two players. That would have been there was no basis there.
Well, next time do better. Okay, Anthony?
Listen, rule number 4, it's always my fault. So 870, it's my fault that you can't hear. Or comprehend or listen. I'm sorry that you feel that way. All right.
This is why we don't let Anthony get on the text.
That's exactly why. Right here.
Coming from Carey. Coming from Carey.
You lost Carey for an entire show.
Battling with the text. At least an entire segment.
Sweat, steam coming out of his ears.
The judge is going to rule that Anthony has to shut down the text line for the remainder of the segment.
All right.
Done.
There you go.
Good.
I'll honor that,
well
Judge.
done, Judge.
Go ahead.
All right, first one from the 386. Prove me wrong. Matthew Liberatore has had his shot. Give another young guy a chance.
Okay, we just talked about this. Matthew Liberatore's had his shot. He's had a handful of starts. And when I say handful, 15, 20 starts overall? He really hasn't been given the ball to run with it at all. So much so that they said, hey, you're going to be a starter unless we need you in the bullpen, and then you're going to be coming out of the bullpen unless we need you as a starter again. This guy doesn't know where to turn, left or right, doesn't know if he's getting the ball for the start or out of the bullpen. And there's a difference, Anthony. You know this. There's a difference that when you're a starter, you ramp up. Every 5 days, you know what your routine is. It's very specific. It's something that works for you, and you go over the team that you're about to face. When you're out of the bullpen, you're called into action at any point. So to be able to prepare for both of those positions at the same time, how do you even do that? How do you prepare for your next start when you have to prepare to come out of the bullpen 2 days ahead of that?
You never know.
Yeah, so I don't think Matthew Liberatore has been given his shot at all.
Grant, you rule on that.
I am going to... go here.
No!
Wow.
Grant's going to be a tougher judge.
Wow.
I think Matthew Liberatore has gotten his chances. He's had starts over the last year and this season, and he's played well out of the bullpen. Keep him there. That's where I'm at.
All right, Judge.
Okay.
All right, Grant, I see where we're headed now.
Okay.
All right, bud.
All right.
Okay,
Jamie, you look good, but I'm not going to give you any unfair rulings.
Wow.
Okay, all right.
Y'all don't listen.
All right, Carey, he's all yours now.
All right.
All right,
Judge.
From the 314, prove me wrong. MLB new schedule sucks. They should play more games versus your division and more games versus your own league and only play three teams from the other league.
Nah, I mean, you want to see the great players in other leagues. When you want to see Aaron Judge and Juan Soto? Do you want to see Shohei and some of these other guys and the other from the other divisions and on the other side of things? Of course, Major League Baseball has done a fantastic job, not only with the schedule, but with the banning of the shift, with the pitch clock, the bigger bases. You see Ellie De La Cruz, how many bases he steals?
50.
He wouldn't have done it the last couple of years had the bases not been bigger. So, you know, the rules that they have changed and to make the game more enjoyable, you can digest this game in less time. It doesn't take 4 hours like it used to. Baseball just go on and on and on. You get to watch this game, and then you get to go enjoy something else when it's over. Because it's a great game, and they've done a great job. The schedule has been perfect. You get to see more teams. And, you know, the division games, they mean more now because you got less of them.
Here.
You know? That's
great point,
what really
Carey.
matters.
I like it, Carey. I like it a lot.
Let's go.
I like how the MLB schedule is set up right now. I agree that it's nice to see every team once. NHL does the same thing where they see every team both in their stadium and they hit the road as well for every team. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
All right, from the 636, prove me wrong. The Cardinals are better off selling players like Helsley and Kittredge rather than buying players like Eric Fetty and etc.
you don't have to buy Eric Fetty. You can certainly upgrade your rotation as it is by going in a different direction. I don't think that you need to overpay for somebody like Eric Fetty, but I think it's absurd to say that you should trade off guys like Andrew Kittredge and Ryan Helsley when you're likely to be in this spot again next year. You're not going to be the Dodgers in terms of like on paper, their roster with your roster. You're not going to be the Phillies. You're not going to be the Braves. You have to upgrade your roster. You have to take care of your own backyard. I don't think trading Helsley and Kittredge gets you anywhere closer to winning the Central and giving yourself an opportunity to win in the postseason. Certainly not by dealing a bunch of key bullpen pieces. So I agree. You don't have to acquire Eric Fetty and overpay for him, but there's going to be other starters that are available that will upgrade your current starting rotation, and selling the bullpen doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Part of me at the beginning thought that maybe selling would be beneficial to this team because I still don't feel like this team is a World Series contender. And adding at the trade deadline, I don't think they still would be a World Series contender. But I also agree with you. You kind of flipped my mind on that one when you talked about, if they do sell these pieces, you're probably not going to be much further ahead next season anyway. So you may as well add. I agree with you there on that one.
Honorable Judge, I thank you for your comment.
Anthony, that's what it's all about. Flipping the perspective of said Honorable Judge.
Yes, thank you.
I go through it every week.
Yes, thank you. You know.
All right, let's do a hockey one. I like this one from the 314. Pulling the goalie never works.
Are you serious? We've seen it happen all the time. Yeah, sir. Sure, the Blues, they've struggled in that department over the past few years. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But are you serious? You get 6 guys out there. Hell, there could be 4 players on the ice. You could have a power play. You get more guys out there, more opportunity to score goals. Maybe you're down 2. You need some life. We've seen Patrick Waugh, former goaltender. I'm sure he doesn't want to get pulled out of the net. No, sir. Except for one time I remember he did want to get pulled out of the net because he was getting scored on. But that guy would pull. He would pull the netminder with 10 minutes left in the third period, and they'd score and win the game. Are you kidding me? You have to pull the goalie. Otherwise, you're basically telling the other team, we quit.
Yeah.
We quit. We're done.
We don't quit.
Ever.
Nice.
There we go.
I'm with you, Marshy. I don't understand a lot of times when people get irritated by pulling the goalie, especially if it's late in the game and you're not getting anything going 5-on-5. You're likely not to score anyway. So, the only thing it affects is your goal differential, which really doesn't matter at the end of the season. So, I'm with you. I think pulling the goalie helps more than it hurts, even though more often you get scored on than you score. You got to do it if you're trying to tie the game and ultimately at least get a point out of a game. So I'm with you.
You guys are pros at this.
Yeah, it's tough.
You guys are pros.
Thank you, Grant. Nice job being the judge today and giving us your perspective, man. Well done.
Hey, I liked it. Hopefully I can do this with you guys more often. I like being the judge over here. Jamie, I'm sorry it didn't go your way today.
Yeah, my feelings are crushed, Grant. I thought we were friends, but, you've clearly made your line in the sand. Thank you.
Uh-oh. You have fired him 3 times.
You don't want to hear those 2 words, those 2 evil words from Jamie.
Segment's over, right?
Yeah.
All right, Grant. Pack your stuff. You're fine.
Yeah, I said it 2 days ago. I figured I'd get fired at some point this week. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. We'll remind everybody that Jamie has no authority to fire.
Hey, we don't know that for sure.
Do you remember when we almost canceled the Gauntlet?
Yeah.
Did we? No, we did.
We did.
Man.
There were some texters that were complaining about the word choices or the options or something on a question for the Gauntlet. Yeah. And
it's actually the origin of the snake pit.
Then we told we said on the air that the bosses came by. They were getting emails and messages. And, what are we doing? How can we screw this up? And so then we said that somebody got fired.
Grant got fired.
The best part of all that, too, was people were texting in after that, like, long text messages defending me. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe someone lost their job over this. It was amazing.
Yeah, people were like, I own a company, and I would never fire somebody over something like this. You guys have got to stand up for Graham.
We did.
We're like, hey,
we'll
listen.
cancel the Gauntlet.
Yeah, we did. The following day, we're like, the Gauntlet got canceled, whatever. Jamie was actually off the next day, and we're like, Jamie in protest did not show up for work today. I mean, we had a whole thing. Yeah.
So foolish.
Anyways, all right, it's Fastlane. Are you worried the Cardinals might not have enough offense? We're getting to that conversation next.
Two pros and one average show. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. Jamie, you were talking to us off air before the show, talking about the offense.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I won't talk. I won't talk about the other thing.
Carey snapped his head around.
I've worked with you long enough to know not to talk about certain things. On air. No, you were talking about the offense, and you're concerned that the Cardinals might not have enough.
You think? Like, I know BT was on here earlier, and he talked about, you ran into Paul Skenes. Okay, I get it, but you're going to run into good pitchers, over the last 60 games of the season, and in particular, come playoff time.
Yes.
You have to find a way to manufacture some runs. If you don't have the pop to do it that way, then you got to do it the other way, which is put the ball in play, get guys on the bases, and move them around. Mm-hmm. You didn't see a whole lot of that. Now, credit to the Cardinals, their game that they did win against the Pirates, it was exactly that. Siani gets on, they push him over, Burleson hits the ball. Like, they manufactured a run, and they won the game. Mm-hmm. But they have to find a way to do that more consistently. And right now, the lack of offense out of Goldie and Arenado overall, just to put up crooked numbers, that's concerning.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the number one reason that the Cardinals are looking for a right-handed bat somewhere out there at the deadline, is because they know how concerning it is right now to be relying on guys that you don't usually rely on. Like, nobody went into the season saying, we're going to rely on Wynn and Burleson and Donovan. And, well, Contreras, he's a different animal. You knew you could already rely on him, but nobody said those three are going to be the guys that drive your offense.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure it out.
Yeah, those were supposed to be complementary pieces. Those three guys, with Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, and Paul Goldschmidt being your big bats. I don't know. I don't know what they do at the trade deadline. How do they get that right-handed power bat? Where does it come from? What do you have to give up? And also pitching. Like, you have to have more pitching. I wrote down some numbers. The last 6 starts for Michaelis, but 5 starts for everyone else, 4 for Palante. Miles Michaelis, his last 6 starts, 6.09 ERA. Lynn, 4.44. Gibson, 5.84. Gray, 5.04. Your last 5 or 6 starts. Like, that ain't going to get it done.
Especially when you're not scoring runs.
And in that time, they've averaged 4.62 runs. So it's not – you're giving up more runs than you're getting. Hey, again, just learning this game. You don't score enough runs, you don't win.
That's why I'm a little surprised that yesterday, when I made a great deal for the Cardinals, you guys did not like it.
I forgot.
Brent Rooker.
I got Brent Rooker.
He's 35 years old. Well, he's 30.
29.
He'll be 30 shortly.
He hit another home run last night.
Bad hip.
He's about to hit 30 more home runs.
Well, so is Nolan Gorman.
And hits for a higher average,
25.
doesn't strike out as much.
Imagine what Gorman's going to look like at 29.
So you guys are talking about the offense. You guys complaining about not enough offense. I get you a cleanup hitter last night, and you guys shoot it down.
Can he pitch too? Is he one of those guys? Is he like Shohei?
I thought we were talking about the offense.
Or we were talking about the pitching as well. See, because they give up too many runs and don't score it.
Don't you twist things.
Hey, you want to score
We're
more
talking
runs
about the offense.
Carey, you go ahead and twist it as much as you want. Okay?
Bop it.
You don't worry about the pitching?
I do worry about the pitching, but we were talking about the offense.
What are you more concerned about?
The pitching.
So why do you want to go get Brent Rooker? He can't pitch.
I'm trying to get you guys offense.
But the pitching is more concerning.
Okay, get Garrett Crochet then.
I said that 2 weeks ago, and everybody thought I was crazy.
And then when you lose 2-0.
Well, you got the pitching though. Yeah.
You only gave up 2 runs. You should win that game, Anthony.
Look, last night you got it done.
All I'm hearing is that this team has 0 pitching and 0 offense.
Then that's not true.
Get Garrett Crochet. Solves your pitching.
Why? So he can sit there and watch your team play? He's going to be shut down.
Then don't shut him down.
Go get him, boys.
Are they going to be?
Garrett Crochet is a really good clapper.
The White Sox may shut him down. The Cardinals don't have to shut him down.
There you go. Throw him in the bullpen.
Blow out his arm.
Who's to say he's going to blow out his arm?
Who's to say he's not? These guys are experts, Anthony.
You know what?
They are not experts at all.
Back in my day, guys pitched.
Yeah.
This is
a
true.
lot of innings.
Like Gibby.
That's your day. Yeah, good one.
Bob Gibson be furious right now listening to you talk about shutting
him down.
Shutting a young pitcher
First of
down.
all, I'm not the one shutting him down.
You mentioned it, so
I only mentioned it because it was told to me.
Well, do
you think I'd find out how many innings this guy's supposed to pitch?
Yes.
I don't have
You're
the
well
desire to
researched.
do. Yeah, but
you don't
not on my own.
Hey, Bob Gibson could swing the bat too.
See?
Yes, he could.
He could.
You need a guy that can do
I mean,
both.
if you weren't careful, he'd be swinging at your head.
If you made him mad,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that
Hey,
at all.
speaking of swinging for the fences, this Saturday,
What a transition.
Fast Lane, that's us. We'll once again square off against the Rizzuto Show from 105.7 The Point at this year's Softball Home Run Derby. It's hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots at Car Shield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri. There will be a fast pitch home run derby that night featuring Rick Ankiel, Brian Jordan, Pete Cosma, some other MLB alum. Tickets are now on sale for just $15, and the Home Run Derby is all brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickle Light. You can get all the details on this Saturday's O'Fallon Home Run Derby at 101ESPN.com. Our shoulder feeling okay?
Yeah, the shoulder's feeling a little bit better. The Cardinals came out and said that I'm day-to-day, so I should be good for Saturday, Anthony.
They
The
said you're
Cardinals
day-to-day.
said you're day-to-day.
You might miss
We
Saturday.
won't see you for a couple of months. You know
What are you
my
talking
rule on-
about?
You know my rule on that.
What? Yeah. They said I'm day-to-day. I'm day-to-day. I'm feeling, the wing is
I don't
feeling,
like that.
feeling okay.
We might need to find a
You know?
substitute.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't twist an ankle when I go back into the batting cage maybe later this week. Who knows?
You'll be fine. All right, we have the Gauntlet next. We got Luke, who beat Carey yesterday.
He's
in
in
the
here
Gauntlet.
mean mugging people,
is.
too. His
Walking
intimidation.
down the hall, I said,
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I was like,
He's ready.
He's
man.
ready for, like, the stare down, like the weigh-in, you know?
Yep. So we'll find out who's next on Luke's list in the Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
When it comes time to sell your home, you're going to want to make sure you have a reliable, experienced, trusted agent. And take it from me, get to know St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Here's why you should call. Gloria's name is her promise and says it all. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has mastered the home selling promise of guaranteeing upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price and time frame, or she will buy it herself. And she guarantees all of that in handwriting. The reason she can do all this is because Gloria has a database with thousands of buyers that are ready to look at your home and purchase it. That creates more traffic, certainly more offers. And if that happens, maybe you get more money for your home. And Gloria Liu always makes sure that these offers are solid and you get to the closing table. All you have to do for great service like that and to sell your home quickly is call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
We're back to the fast lane at Blues Youth Camp. Brought to you by E&B Granite, Bernie Federko's only choice for granite countertops, cabinets, and flooring. 4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
401, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's time for the Gauntlet. And we got our guy Luke back from Centene Community Ice Center after knocking off Carey yesterday. So it's round 2 of the Gauntlet. Luke, who are you choosing? Jamie, all right.
You're staring me down over there.
Yeah.
Big burly beard on him.
Get out of here,
All
kid.
right.
All right, so Luke's going to sit down. He's going to ask Grant to spin the wheel, and Jamie's going to get the blank out of here. So, Luke, you ready, buddy?
Yeah.
As your chair runs away from you.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and tell Grant to spin the wheel.
Grant, spin the wheel.
What are you hoping for? Baseball?
Yeah.
Luke, the wheel was nice to you yesterday. It's not going to be nice to you today. You got hockey.
I knew it.
Oh, no. I imagine, though, you got to be a big hockey fan, right?
I am, but not as much knowledgeable.
Okay. Well, hey, you never know. Sometimes Jamie gets questions that aren't really in his wheelhouse, so we'll see if it's one of those days. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. 4 questions, all hockey. 2 points for every question unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, they're worth 1 point. Here we go. Name the first Blues head coach to win the Jack Adams Award.
Options, please.
Ken Hitchcock, Joel Quenneville, or Red Berenson?
Red. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which team used to play their games at the Cow Palace?
Options, please.
Is it the San Jose Sharks, Philadelphia Flyers, or the Pittsburgh Penguins?
I'll go. What was the middle one?
Philadelphia Flyers. Sharks, Flyers, Penguins.
I'll go with the Sharks.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Question number 3. The Blues finished with the fewest goals allowed in the NHL in the 2011-2012 season. Who was the goaltender that started the most games for the Blues that season and finished the year with a .926 save percentage?
I'll go the options.
Options are Brian Elliott, Yaroslav Halak, or Chris Mason.
Chris Mason.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, last question, Luke. In the 2012 playoffs, before being swept by the LA Kings in the second round, which team did the Blues eliminate in the first round in 5 games?
I'll have to take the options again.
The Chicago Blackhawks, the Minnesota Wild, or the San Jose Sharks?
2012?
Yes.
I'll go with the Blackhawks. That was my gut.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back, Jamie, if you can see us. How you feeling, Luke?
Not good.
Not good. Okay.
You're waving down.
He is locked
locked
into his phone. I'll go have to get him.
Yeah. I mean, he's not even.
He hadn't even looked up
He hasn't
yet.
looked up once. Honestly, we should dock him points just for doing this.
I was going to just call him and see if he was going to.
Yeah. Oh, look, now he's looking around. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Marsh said, Marsh went to grab him. Jimmy's like looking around. Who'd you think was talking to you, God?
This came from like the side. It was weird, man.
I'm everywhere.
It sounded like it was coming from like the 314 social. I was like, who's talking to me? Nobody's in there. I'm like,
Well, I didn't like say it. I was like Jamie.
You're like,
the voices are back.
All right, Jamie.
Yeah, good.
You ready?
I don't know. Am I?
I don't know.
Your category is hockey.
Oh, Luke could be a formidable opponent, though. This could be a little scary. Scary, not Carey.
No, pack a lunch.
Oh, okay.
All right, question 1. Name the first Blues head coach to win the Jack Adams Award.
First.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I believe Hitch won it. I believe that Quenneville won it. And I believe that Sutter won it. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Somebody before that, for sure. No, Red Berenson? I think it was Red Berenson. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which team used to play their games at the Cow Palace?
Oh, Anthony. This has got to hit home for you. Good old San Jose Sharks. That's where we played them. It was in San Francisco before they had their Shark Tank. Used to fly and play them at the old Cow Palace.
Final answer?
Oh, yes. San Jose Sharks. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Blues finished with the fewest goals allowed in the NHL in the 2011-2012 season. Who was the goaltender that started the most games for the Blues that season and finished the year with a .926 save percentage?
Okay, this was the Halak-Elliott era, I believe, but they took turns being like the number one or the better goalie. In 2012, I just don't know which one it was. Not going to take the options because it's just foolish. Brian Elliott did at one point hold the record for shutouts for Blues goalies. I'm going to go with the Moose. Brian Elliott. Final answer.
Final question. In the 2012 playoffs, before being swept by the LA Kings in the second round, which team did the Blues eliminate in the first round in 5 games?
2012. I believe it was the Blackhawks. Was it the Wild? I'm trying to think. I think it was the Chicago Blackhawks. Final answer.
Okay, let's go over these. Luke versus Jamie in hockey. Let's start right there. In the 2012 playoffs, before being swept by the LA Kings in the second round, which team did the Blues eliminate in the first round in 5 games? We just heard Jamie say the Blackhawks without the options. Luke also said the Blackhawks, but he took the options. Correct answer is
the San Jose Sharks.
San Jose Sharks.
Oh, wow. Wow, Anthony, look at you go.
I don't know what that means. All right. Question 3. Question 2, the third question in our gauntlet today. The Blues finished with the fewest goals allowed in the NHL in the 2011-12 season. Who was the goaltender that started the most games for the Blues that season and finished the year with a .926 save percentage? Luke, with the options, you went with Chris Mason. Jamie, without the options, you went with Brian Elliott. Correct answer is?
Well, I believe he got injured in the playoffs that season. Yaroslav Halak.
I picked the wrong one.
You picked the wrong door.
Son of a batch of biscuits.
So we have a 0-0 tie.
Wow.
Name the first Blues head coach to win the Jack Adams Award. Luke, you went with Red Berenson. Jamie, you went with Red Berenson. Correct answer is?
It is Red Berenson.
But Jamie did not use the option, so Jamie has a 2-1 lead over Luke. Which team used to play their games at the Cow Palace? Luke, you said the Sharks. Jamie, you said the Sharks. Correct answer is?
It is Anthony San Jose Sharks.
Sharks. Jamie did not use the options on that one. Luke.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Sorry, Luke. Unfortunately, you guys both had the same answers correct, but Jamie did not use the options on those, and Luke did. Sorry, buddy. He got you today, 4-2.
Good job, Luke.
Good job, though, Luke.
Good job, Luke.
Luke knew. He said as soon as he sat down, he's like, I knew it. I knew it was going to be
hockey.
Yeah, the wheel was not kind. So, Luke, thanks for playing, though, man.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Jamie, nice work on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Jamie.
A little rattled there when I fed the first two wrong. I was like, ooh, boy, it's going to be one of those days.
Why was it called the Cow Palace? Did they have cows in there to show them off? Or?
A big farm expos that went through there, and I believe they had a rodeo that went through there as well. And so
this is the same thing here, right?
It was massive. This place was massive to where it was too big for hockey.
Really?
Fans there was space behind the net to where it was like 20 feet before the stands started, and it was let's just get through this till the rink is done type thing.
Let's put a car in the corner of the arena
and let's
take up some space.
And let's make sure it's a Skoda. Those are the best cars.
Oh.
There's always the European games, the Olympics and stuff.
Yeah.
They have a Skoda randomly just in the corner.
Nice. Well, you never know when you might need one.
Never know.
Yeah. All right.
How do they get it there?
Is a fast lane on 101 ESPN? Who knows?
I don't know.
We're going to list off some pitchers, and we're going to talk about whether or not this moves the needle for the Cardinals. Those pitchers move the needle for the Cardinals. That's next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got their hail sale going on right now. They've extended it, but just for a limited time. So they've got hail sale vehicles. These are vehicles that were impacted by the hailstorm back in May, and they've massively discounted these vehicles. So if you find a vehicle that you love, great. You're already going to get a bunch of savings up front. But with those vehicles, they also have the discounts with no payments for 3 months and no down payment available on select new and used inventory, all now at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Plus, all current Nissan specials and incentives are eligible for any hail-affected new Nissan. So you could stack up the discounts and the incentives on these hail sale vehicles. And with over 700 vehicles in one location, you're bound to find the right car, truck, SUV, van, sports vehicle that you're looking for that fits your needs and fits your budget as well. As always, all offers include the 30-day new car return promise. Within 30 days, if you want to bring the vehicle back for any reason, you can. You get a full refund of your money. Complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, as well as that complimentary one-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. It's all available at Auto Centers Nissan and AutoCentersNissan.com. Don't forget, tell them Stalter sent you.
You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're live at Centene Community Ice Center. Jim Bowden, no Jamie, was on earlier today with BK and Ferrario. I'm glad I said that when your mic was off.
Bobby's brother?
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. You're going to do it anyways, aren't you?
It's tradition.
Nope. He's a former general manager. He now writes for The Athletic. He was on with BK and Ferrario. And he listed off some pitchers that the Cardinals could be interested in or could be options for the Cardinals at the trade deadline. Here's what Bobby Bowden had to say.
When I've heard the names connected to the Cardinals, the names I hear the most are Zach Eflin, Eric Fetty, you say Kikuchi, Cal Quantrill, Austin Gomber, who was once a Cardinal. Interesting, I don't hear Flaherty, which I'm not sure I understand why. I think a reunion would be phenomenal because he's pitching like, right now, he's pitching like he did in his prime with St. Louis. I think it'd be the perfect fit, but I don't know if there was a bridge that was burned or something there. And I know the Cardinals have actually talked to the White Sox about Crochet too, but I don't really see that happening based on the competition for him. But they have been connected to him too. So one thing's for sure that we all know John Mozeliak, and over the years he doesn't make a lot of trades, but he does identify specific needs and normally does fill that. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't add a veteran starter just because he's working so hard to get one.
Okay, so again, it was Jim Bowden of The Athletic, not Bobby Bowden.
Bobby's brother.
Nope.
Anthony gets so mad.
He has been working so hard.
He
on
has.
This.
I've been really good. I haven't stepped on the landmine in a while, and I just did.
Oh, man.
And not in the conventional way either.
No.
I added the first name this time. All right, so he had mentioned, and Marsh, you have to help me out because I missed maybe a name or two, but he said Zach Eflin. He said UC Kikuchi.
Yep.
He said Eric Fetty. Mm-hmm. He mentioned Jack Flaherty, although he doesn't understand why they wouldn't be interested. And
I'm not sure if there's a bridge burned there or not.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah,
it burned to the ground.
And then he said Garrett Crochet. They
then he said
interest
Austin Gomber, too.
And Cal Quantrill.
Yeah.
There you go.
Austin Gomber.
Yeah. A couple of Rockies pitchers that can't pitch. So Austin Gomber and Cal Quantrill. So there's the names. Not surprising. There wasn't a new name that was thrown in there, I guess, outside of maybe Austin Gomber. Because I've seen the Cardinals connected with Cal Quantrill, but Austin Gomber, no. Anybody, we know, Carey, you love Garrett Crochet, but any of the realistic options that really light a fire
with
under your
Eflin.
end?
I'm okay with Eflin.
Mm-hmm. Are you okay with any of these guys?
I'm okay. Yeah, I would be really happy with Flaherty. But again, I think that bridge has been burned to the ground and buried after that. So,
Did you bury a bridge?
Yeah, just get rid of whatever's left of it. Yeah.
That nobody else.
Sometimes you can see things in the ashes.
Gotcha.
Make sure the ashes are gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Understood. All right.
Yeah.
Out of the realistic options, because like Carey, I understand that you're going to say Garrett Crochet. I get it. I get the appeal. But out of the realistic options, is there one that you would take above any of them?
Where do those guys slate?
No. Just say no.
Was your mic off?
Yeah.
No, it's on.
Just say no.
Might as well have been. I mean, where do those guys fit in your rotation? Are they a two? The names you have.
Let's
Zach
do this.
Eflin a two?
Let's do this.
On this team, probably, maybe.
Does Zach Eflin, is he better? Would you feel more comfortable with Zach Eflin or Miles Michaelis?
Right now, today?
Yeah.
I don't feel very comfortable with Miles.
Okay.
So
I think Miles Michaelis is like that line. Because I think
Lance Lynn makes me way more uncomfortable than Miles.
But he's
I know, but
under.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in order to play the game, like if I say Zach Eflin or Lance Lynn, we'd all say
you don't
Zach
have to
Eflin.
treat me like that, Anthony.
Hey, Lance Lynn.
You mansplained it to me.
He did, actually.
He's like, well, in order to play the game, Jamie. Really? That's where we're headed now?
Hey, Lance Lynn has had two good
I don't know
outings
if I
in a
could have
row.
said it any nicer or more polite.
Oh, no, but I understand. When you say it, you say it a certain way, Anthony. Loud and clear, buddy, okay?
Let's
play your game.
Let's go with Miles Michaelis as the barometer. All right.
Okay.
Zach Eflin or Miles Michaelis?
Probably Michaelis, to be honest. I think his upside's still better than Eflin. Eflin's probably a little more consistent in that mediocre area, but I don't think he blows up as much as Michaelis.
All right. Marsh?
I'd probably stick with Michaelis, too.
Carey?
Listen to how you all say it. Are you excited about that? Does that move?
No, but Carey, I can't just force feed a guy into the rotation just because it's a transaction.
No, I'm not. Which goes to my point. Then why even make the transaction?
I'm with you on this one. That's why we're voting on it.
Okay, no, Miles Michaelis. Then I'm with the group.
Okay, so Zach's out.
Zach's out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go to the next one here.
Nope.
UC. No.
Oh, yes.
I would definitely like to have, or I'd definitely like to see Kikuchi in our lineup.
Yeah, I know you would.
Alrighty.
What about in the rotation, though?
I think you could put Kikuchi right there in the 2 or 3 hole.
Okay.
Probably the 3.
Carey?
Your thoughts?
The adult of the group?
that says a lot.
What? We're talking about a player here, Anthony. Grow up.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say no.
Over Miles Michaelis?
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
I'll take Kikuchi over Miles Michaelis.
Yeah. You should.
His ERA is 4.54, but the fielding independent.
But
3.57.
He's
he's probably going to pitch better from here on out than what his ERA would indicate. He's also got a strikeout rate of 10.14.
The team defense too for the Cardinals is better than what the Blue Jays have been showing this year.
Yes. So I would take Kikuchi.
Yeah.
You're in.
Oh, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah, we're in.
All right.
I'm in. We are in.
There we go. That's the one trade we can make, though. We're done now.
I would take Fetty over Michaelis, but not at what I think the price tag is going to be.
That's the problem.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally agree.
Like Kikuchi, I don't think it's going to cost what it's going to cost to get Fetty. And now we're playing the game of like, what Eric Fetty are we going to get? Has he completely turned around his career after pitching in the KBO last year? Are we going to see more of what we see right now with the White Sox? If so, okay, yeah, Price is doing business, but I can't get past the 4 or 5 years that he was with the Washington Nationals and posted a 5-something ERA.
Well, what about having him for only a year and a half? It's not like you're making a move to have him for like 4 or 5 years.
What if it costs you, though? I don't know. I struggle with these trade scenarios. But what if it costs you, 2 decent prospects?
Are any of them pitchers?
Yes.
Like,
no.
Who?
Graceffo.
You don't even know. You don't know. Do you
That's
know
what I'm saying. I don't know.
I just don't know.
What if it costs you Gordon Graceffo? I don't know. What if it costs you 2 top 10 prospects?
My issue.
That's too much.
No, my issue is you're getting that for how many seasons?
A year and a half.
Are you going to win a World Series, a World Championship in a year and a half?
Maybe.
Your roster is never going to be compared to the Dodgers or Phillies.
Are you going to be competing for a National League pennant in a year and a half? Let's take the World Series. Are you able to play in a NLCS in the next year and a half?
On paper, no.
Making that trade, are you putting yourself to be playing in an NLCS in the next year and a half?
Carey,
so why
based
would you
on
mortgage
that, though,
the future?
But hang on, Carey. Based on what you're saying, which is just sit here and do nothing.
That's not what I've said.
Well, but kind of, because Garrett Crochet's, that's a figment of your imagination.
It's not. Bobby Bowden said it was possible.
Bobby Bowden is dead.
Jim Bowden said it was possible.
No, he said it wasn't. He basically said,
he said they've talked to him.
Which is exactly what the Cardinals do. Oh, well, we've kicked the tires. The cost of doing business was just a little too rich for us.
They always make the call, don't they?
Yeah, so the name can be attached to the player.
Yes.
Cardinals called on Crochet.
Yeah, it went to voicemail, but we gave him a call.
But did you? Really?
Yeah. This is how that conversation is. It's like, hey, White Sox, this is the Cardinals here. It's John Mosey. Like, what would it take to get Crochet? And then you hear it, listen to the offer. Okay, thank you. We'll call you back.
No, there are 2 players in, and he's like, okay, we'll think about it.
Yeah, right.
But we're not done. We are.
Right. Wow. And then Bobby Boogie calls him and is like, hey, you interested in Crochet? Yeah, we called about him.
Yeah, we talked to the White Sox about him. We'll see.
Right. All right, Gomber.
No, God, no. What?
I'd rather do your own internal options than do that.
Quantrill. I say no.
No.
All right, so that's it. Out of the ones
Evaldi, though.
Yeah, Evaldi.
He's not on the list that
no, he's not.
Donnie's brother gave us, but still.
So I don't think
he wasn't even on the list.
No.
Well, from what Bobby Bowden said, or Jim Bowden, it doesn't look like Texas will be sellers at the deadline. So,
Jamie said that the other day, didn't you? You didn't think that Texas would be selling. They thought maybe they.
I think they still believe they're a team that can get in.
Yeah. So you got to go with teams that don't have a chance.
Correct. Or you have to wait right to the
players.
last minute and hope that they hit a skid of 3 or 4 games here before the deadline.
Very true. All right. We got some tickets to give away. You guys want to give some tickets away?
Always.
Some
Yes.
Cardinals tickets, huh? Some Bud Bash tickets?
Yeah.
All right, we have your chance right now to win a 4-pack of tickets to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. We've got our Sports Six-Pack coming up. 314-399-9646. Send in your questions to the Sports Six-Pack. And then we'll do some Bud Bash tickets, like, further away in the show. So Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club, love heading down there, especially in the summertime. They actually have 2 clubhouses. The West Clubhouse, I enjoy going down there in the summertime for the pool, bring the kids there, take part of some of the classes that they have or some of the events that they have surrounding holidays. We've gone to Mother's Day brunches, Father's Day brunches there, taking part in, the Easter stuff that they have going on. But when it comes to the downtown location, perfect when the Cardinals are at home. Take the MAC shuttle over to Busch Stadium, and then on the way back, maybe you stop in at the Jack Buck Grill, get something to eat, get something to drink there. Perfect spot. That's Miami C, the Missouri Athletic Club.
Grant Francis here with a SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals picked up a win yesterday 2-1, but today they fell 5-0 in the series finale at PNC Park. Matthew Liberatore went 3 innings and allowed 4 hits and 5 earned runs against. The Cardinals did out-hit Pittsburgh 6-5 today, but they were unable to drive in any runs as they were shut out 5-0. Cardinals off tomorrow. They'll welcome in the Nationals this weekend to Busch Stadium for a 3-game set starting on Friday. I'm Grant Francis. The SportsCenter update's been driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, time for your Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. What do we got, Marshy?
Question number 1.
Got a question from the Water Boy. Have we reached a point yet where Goldschmidt is not coming back next season? If not, will we do a 1-year contract worth a smaller amount of money?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I don't see a world where you'd bring Paul Goldschmidt back. Why would you?
I don't think.
Look,
I think they could. I think they would, but I don't know that they should. Like, I could see them because what other better options do we have out there?
Alec Burleson.
Yeah, but
Jordan Walker.
Yeah, Jordan Walker.
Brent Rooker.
That'd be great.
Is he a free agent?
But here's the way I look at it, Carey. This is the perfect way to break up.
The Cardinals, I don't disagree.
Like, Paul Goldschmidt couldn't even look them in the eye after this year and say, well, you need me.
Right.
No, you can't say you need me because we needed you that whole season and we didn't get
I'm just
enough.
saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they did bring him back on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I would deem that to be a mistake.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. Do I think it should happen? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a perfect time to say, hey, it's been a nice run. We respect you, respect your career, but you don't have to make a decision. There's no contract next year. And you've got other options that you could play at first base. Maybe not at a Gold Glove level, but you can certainly slot somebody in there.
I don't disagree. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if a contract was offered in the offseason. A 2-year deal with a team option.
Oh, God, no. God, no.
Just telling you.
No. Carey, no.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
$28 million.
I will vomit.
$30 million.
What?
Yeah. Second-year team option.
No,
2 years.
Carey.
2 years, $30 million?
Carey.
For what? What are you paying
here.
that money for?
Get out of here, Carey.
All right. You want to write that down somewhere?
Yes, write that down,
We should
Marsh.
write that down.
Write that down.
We should start writing it down, really. See what
30 million?
There's
$28
Carey's been
million is
getting
what I
into the
said.
Bud Light around here.
I think
14
he is.
a year. The second year doesn't
Either
count.
that or he's been huffing that hot stuff he's been putting on his elbow.
Yeah, he has. I've seen it.
That opens up the nostrils, Jimmy. You
Clearly.
all know when I had it on.
It should work.
I kind of miss the smell.
Don't worry, I'll get it going for you here in a minute.
He'll be back.
Yeah. Elbow hadn't stopped hurting just yet. It's killing me.
No, you're using it quite well. Swinging that bat yesterday.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah. What?
Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
It was legit.
Got a question from the 636. Did Marsh live out his dream today, and will there be any lawsuits for damages or injuries?
Oh, our guy Marshy Marsh had an opportunity to ride the Zamboni, drive it, and he did it today here at Centene Community Ice Center.
Way to go, Marshy.
Thanks to Casey and Luke. Casey helped Marshy get used to the Zamboni and talked him through it a little bit, and then he let him fly on his own.
Yep.
He let him out of the nest, and he stood back like a proud papa looking at Marshy go straight up and down the middle of the ice.
That's phenomenal.
Took a few laps, and I will say that thing looks it looks harder than what you would think when you just watch the guys drive around and clean the ice and whatnot. There's a lot of doohickeys on that thing. I felt like an F1 driver, I'm not going to lie.
Were you nervous?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Well, like, you got to give it a little gas, like, getting into or onto the ice. And, like, there were points where I was, like, a little hesitant to really throttle it and keep that consistent, miles per hour going onto the ice. And the one thing that I was worried about was screwing up the ice.
How many laps did you take?
Maybe, like, 4 or 5, something like that.
An adequate amount.
Yeah.
For sure.
Enough.
Did it live up to the thoughts you had for it? Did it meet the feeling that you had prior to actually doing it?
Oh yeah, no, it did.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know, like when I would have another opportunity to drive a Zamboni.
Opening
like,
night, Jamie, make it happen.
Blues opening night.
Man.
Blues opening night.
Listen,
And,
I can pull some strings around this city. Not that one.
And the Blues game is canceled tonight as a young man is driven right into the boards.
And the Blues have now petitioned the city of St. Louis for a grant to help fix up the Enterprise Center.
No, it was fine, though. I will say, though, there's a few blind spots because the thing's so big, you really have to, you really got to dial it in there to make sure that you don't run into anything. And I definitely stayed away from the boards, although it felt like I could have done a few donuts on the ice.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
I should have, but
with the little metal nubbies in the tires.
Yeah,
the ice would have been in fantastic shape after that.
Marsh, you respected the process.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So
you did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Question number 3.
All right, gentlemen, we saw a player on the Philadelphia Eagles who has thrown up multiple times today in training camp. And I mean multiple times, just not in shape. If you were a head coach on said team and you saw a player came into training camp out of shape, what is your thought process with that player? And has that happened to you two professional athletes? Anthony, obviously, you played at a high level as well for a spell. What does that look like from a coach's perspective when you're trying to deal with a player like that?
Well, they have rules in the CBA for football. If you come in, I think it's 500 pounds per pound per day, $700 per pound per day, something like that. So if you're 10 pounds overweight, it's $7,000. It's $700 a day per pound. So you'll figure it out how to get the weight off of you very quickly if you do come in out of shape. And there are some people that come in out of shape, and I could be wrong with that number, but it is some $500 to $700, I think, per pound per day, which can get into your pockets pretty quickly if you're not taking care of your business. So, and that's until all of the weight is off and you are at the number that they have designated for you. So even if you're at 2 pounds, until you get to that, those 2 pounds off, they're going to be fining you every single day. So there are ways to do it. But as a professional athlete, your job is your body. And so if you don't take care of that, we're no longer in the days where people come into training camp to get into shape. That was a while ago. Now you better be in shape when you get to training camp. Otherwise, you could be left behind.
Yeah, it never happened to me. I couldn't afford it to happen to me. Not just like the money aspect is to lose my spot because not being a star player, you better be in really good shape. And the way I needed to play, I better be in really good shape. There have been some guys who show up a little bit fluffy, we'll say. And, this is back a while, so I don't know what the current CBA rules are for NHL players. But back then, those guys just got driven into the ground. Like after practice, it would be like, take your stuff off, get directly to the gym. We got a bike ride ready for you. After the bike ride, we got a full circuit. After the circuit, we've got you would lose that weight. Yeah. Like one way or another. And they would be fining guys too. Won't bring up some names, but there's some guys I played with that were very high-end players that showed up out of shape, and the same protocol was used on those guys. Now, they didn't lose their jobs or lose their spot on the power play or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was a shot to their ego when you're being, and this is back a while. They called it the Chubb Club. When you're in the Chubb Club,
you want out.
You want out.
Yeah.
So that's how they regulated it. That I don't know what they do now. I don't think it's an option now. Meaning, like, players are working out year round. Like the Blues guys, I remember the season ended, and I came down here to Centene to pick up something from one of the trainers. Walk in, and there's like 6 guys in the weight room.
Really?
And they getting after it. And the season been over for like 3 days. I'm like, okay, all right, that's how we do it now, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine that's the off season too is the time where you're going to put on some good muscle. Because during the season, I would imagine it's a little harder to stay up with the
I might
weights.
disagree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's different for football.
For football, it might be easier because in the
you guys
offseason,
play
you're
one
training.
game a week.
Yeah.
So it's
and if you're not playing or not practicing very much, you can put on some weight. Like during the season.
Yeah.
Because you're not running nearly as much as you do in the offseason.
Okay.
So going back to your point, Anthony, there was a thought process for a while about guys like putting on weight, getting big and bulky and muscular. That's kind of gone now. To be successful in the NHL, you have to be strong. You don't have to be big and bulky. It's nice for some guys like skinny guys to naturally put on 8 to 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
But after that, it's a lot of pliability now, a lot of small little muscle groups that get trained and like little specific things that they do.
Sure.
So it's not the traditional slap it on the bench press or on the squat rack and let's get after it.
Right.
It's all these other little exercises now to make sure that your core is strong, that your delts are built up the right way. So if you take a hit a certain way, you're not just big and bulky and it pops out. It's the training regimen for the NHL players of the modern day is different now.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue our Sports Six back next on 101 ESPN.
For over 80 years, the Londoff family has been making transportation dreams come true. Whether you visit the dealership in person or online at Londoff.com, at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, they treat you like family. The Londoff family wants to make buying a vehicle fun. Remember when buying a vehicle used to be stressful and you worried about haggling for the price? You don't have to worry about that anymore. You get on the website, check out the price of the vehicle. You already know where you're at beforehand. You can get pre-qualified online so that when you get to the dealership, you know exactly what cars that you're able to test drive and take out and see if that's your dream vehicle. And when you buy a vehicle from the Londoff family, you can be sure that you will get the best price with the best experience possible. We talked about the suggested retail price. I'm going to give you one here. It's the exact truck that I drive, and that is the Silverado 1500 RST. Its suggested retail price $63,760. The Londoff price $49,760. That's $14,000 in savings. So no worrying about haggling for price. Just show up and find the vehicle of your dreams. And you can visit the original location in Florissant, Missouri, or the new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters. Get by there. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If not, get there online. Again, that's Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Answer the question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. Or continued Sports Six-Pack. 314-399-9646. Carey made a remark to me right before.
I told him, you shut your mouth.
Yeah, you did.
You do it.
Then,
okay.
And then I had to bring us back. So
he had to talk.
Yeah. He was looking at me that time like, is it okay? Is it not?
Okay.
So I went for it, and so far, so good. Marsh, question 4, please.
Question number 4.
From the 314, if the Blues play 3 young prospects this year and miss the playoffs by 1 game, would the time on the ice and seasoning be worth the time?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's crazy to even think they missed the playoffs by, losing 1 game. And I would say you had to do your work in January or February, quit worrying about playing the young guys and missing by 2 points or something like that. I think that anytime, here's what I'll say. If the young players are an instrumental part of your lineup and that team falls short by 2 points, then it's not a failure at all, because those guys are coming back the next season and they're going to start leading your team, be a big part of your core. If these young guys are just accent pieces that don't really have much to do with it and you fall short by that point, then you're still lagging behind, because the development of these young players that are supposed to carry the torch for you moving forward, now it's delayed a little bit longer. So in a perfect world, the Blues make the playoffs, but from a development standpoint and speeding up the process, perfect world would have their young guys being big parts of the lineup and having a level of success. Not the ultimate success of making the playoffs or certainly being a cup contender, but nonetheless winning a lot of hockey games and being a big part of the team.
I agree with that. I don't think it would be a waste at all. You're right, Jamie. You'd have to do a little bit more in the offseason. But I mean, for young guys, especially in a retool, young guys to get that ice time, to get the developmental time, to get those reps in, it all counts at that level. So those reps are going to be invaluable. I know you're trying to make the playoffs, but you also missed it the last 2 years. You have to make this. This is why it's a retool. You have to make that transition to bring in that new young core. So I don't think it'd be a waste.
Got a question?
Question number 5.
From the 314. What is the biggest heartbreaking moment as a St. Louis sports fan? The 314 believes it's between losing Brett Hull when the 314 was a kid and the Rams as an adult.
I think 3-1 against the Braves. Was it 96? They were up and they lost. Was it 3-1? That was the series?
I don't
so.
remember.
That was heartbreaking for me.
I think it's the Rams, unfortunately.
Leaving?
In the manner that they left.
Watching those guys?
Well, but
Anthony?
Carey.
You were there live and in person, sir.
I was.
They weren't.
I was there.
A lot of
but
effort given every Sunday.
Listen, Carey.
I'm not telling a lie. No, I think the players were given the best effort that they could give. I don't think a lot of those players should have been able to give that effort, though. You know what I mean?
I do. I do know what you mean. Yeah. Jamie, I'm sure there's plenty of Blues heartbreaking moments.
Why do you say it like that?
Because the Blues have
they've been around.
They have been good.
Yeah.
And they have had some heartbreaking moments. Wait, look, it's only heartbreaking.
Why is it automatic that I have a Blues heartbreaker?
It's only heartbreaking if you're on the cusp of something great, and it doesn't happen.
Well, why is it automatically Blues? I have other ones.
What else you got?
Well, I'll go with the Blues this time. Is the Game 7 double overtime Steve Yzerman goal. Heartbreaker. Sitting right there watching that thing go in. We had a team that year that we were a legit cup contender. And everything kind of fell apart after that, man. Stinks.
Yeah.
Screw you, Stevie.
I'll also go the
great guy.
04 Cardinals. Those were the best Cardinals teams I've ever seen. And then because the baseball gods felt as though they owed the stupid Red Sox something, they
had made a movie, a documentary about it.
Yeah,
they were making it during
one of the worst documentaries you'll ever see.
But did the documentary include pitching to Ortiz over and over again?
That was 13.
Oh, that was 13?
Or 14.
Okay.
13. I always screwed that up. 13.
You shouldn't have pitched him.
I was talking about, 04.
Should have just pitched
04 was Manny and what were they called? The idiots? What did they call themselves?
Stupid Red Sox.
Oh, no, that's right. What did they call themselves?
Didn't they call themselves idiots? A group of idiots?
They had, Millar,
Group of
Misfits.
Johnny Damon.
Was it the Misfits?
That was the Giants in 2010.
The Little Giants.
No, the Little Giants. That documentary's awesome.
Didn't they call themselves a group?
I'm going to try and find it.
Something about idiots.
Kevin Youkilis.
Manny Ramirez. That's when he walked into the Green Monster and didn't come back for a little while.
He went to the bathroom.
Yeah, just disappeared.
Manny being Manny. Yeah.
So the
Lovable Idiots. Is that it?
Maybe.
The Idiots.
The Idiots.
The Idiots.
Just idiots.
But it's Johnny Damon nicknamed them the
Yeah, a
Idiots.
group of idiots. Something like that. Yeah.
Actually, there's been a few texters texting in 2005. I was actually going to bring that up as well. When Albert Pujols hit that home run in Game 5 to send it back to St. Louis, they followed that up with just not a great game in Game 6.
Fell flat.
Fell flat. I was actually at that game because I was super excited. So I probably have to use that one as mine just because I was there.
Mark,
So
I think it's big of you also to take ownership in that.
I don't think that's what he. I don't think that's what he.
Oh.
I don't think he meant
they didn't get it done because of you.
His fault.
my little third grade self
Yeah.
blaming me.
Yep.
Really?
I mean,
The Cardinals were sick, Marshall.
did you believe
They were
enough?
sick.
Anthony, I believe so much. Actually, here's a little cool story. So that was the final game at the old Busch Stadium. And so people would walk around and they were writing their signatures or writing messages all over the walls just because they were knocking it down. I went that night after the game. I drew a little headstone. I put RIP Busch Stadium.
No.
Cardinals will win the World Series in 2006.
Oh.
I wrote that on there. And then, lo and behold, it happened.
See?
So if you want to blame me for 2005, that's
have to
fine.
credit you for
You got to
06.
credit me for 2006
I'm
because
good with that.
a year prior to that, I wrote on Sharpie on the old Busch Stadium that they would win. My little third grade self.
Go down and write on the stadium again, Marshy,
I
please.
should. I really should. I'd probably get arrested, but
There. Tell him you did it years ago.
We'll run cover for you.
yeah.
I'm looking at this Braves Cardinals series where they were up 3-1.
Yeah.
They lost Game 5, 14-0, which made it 3-2. Lost Game 6 in Atlanta, 3-1, and then they lost Game 7 in Atlanta, 15-0.
If you're going to lose big.
This was the
Yeah,
St.
make
Louis
sure that
football Cardinals.
Everybody
No, it's the
knows.
St. Louis baseball
You have no
Cardinals.
shot. Yeah.
You know, the Cardinals, I believe it was either 2012 or 2014, they had a 3-1 lead. I think it was 2012. They had a 3-1 lead in that series in the NLCS, too, and blew it.
Doesn't feel good.
Well, this is,
Were you at that game?
I was not at that game.
question.
No. If I was, you could blame me for it. For sure.
I was thinking about it.
Yep. All right. Is that it for us?
We got one more.
Let's do it.
Question number 6.
All right, we got a question from the 314. Back in your prime, what was your 2 a.m. food spot of choice?
Oh, Del Taco. Del Taco. They had one that on our way home, it was right there like the Brentwood, Clayton area. It was right off of Highway 6440. Seemed like it was always open. It was like a wide receiver, always open.
Yeah.
And you'd stop in there and you'd hammer down whatever that you thought was great. And wake up in the morning and regret your life choices.
Did you, though? I mean,
No, I didn't regret anything.
Yeah.
I regret absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
For me, college, definitely. It was a spot called Mary Ann's where you can get eggs, biscuits, gravy, bacon, hash browns, and it's all in one thing, and it's all mixed up together.
Oh, yeah. What do they call those here?
It just goes
Breakfast
down.
bowl.
Just goes down.
What do they call those? Slingers?
I don't know what it was
maybe.
called. Mary Ann's Special, I believe. I don't know. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I think I've had that.
Remember a friend of mine and I, teammate, one of those 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the mornings, nights, we went over some barbed wire fence to get to Marianne's.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
I don't blame
good,
you.
huh?
Got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Yes.
Yeah. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Not as good, but not as bad.
It's Central Michigan. There was a place called Lil Chef. The only place that was open late.
Skillet.
And I couldn't tell you what food they had. It was like a...
You don't remember?
It was like a Denny's, but worse.
It was called Lenny's.
Lenny's Lil Chef.
There's a place in college up in Grand Forks called Red Pepper. Unbelievable spot. Okay. Oh, yeah. You had the white sauce and the red sauce. I've probably talked about it before. But Red Pepper always had good food. They had the grinders and the little tortillas that you can. It's literally cheese in a tortilla, and they toast it. A cheese tostada. That's I think what it was called.
Okay.
Put the red sauce and the white sauce on there.
Nice.
It was unbelievable, especially at 2 a.m. when after you're having a little fun. When you needed it.
Yeah, when you couldn't
course.
sleep.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. What is Jim Bowden seeing that we are not when it comes to the Cardinals? You hear more of his interview with BK and Ferrario next on 101 ESPN.
Fast Lane, live from Blues Youth Camp. Brought to you by E&B Granite, Bernie Federko's only choice for granite countertops, cabinets, and flooring.
5:05, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Let's give away some tickets right now. Bud Bash tickets. We have your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Bud Bash game for Cardinals versus Rangers. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Steve Klein bobblehead. Here's your trivia question for today. What bucket list item did Andrew Marsh cross off today? What bucket list item did Andrew Marsh cross off today? If you have the correct answer, you can text in 314-399-9646 to win the Bud Bash tickets for Cardinals versus Rangers on July 30th at Busch Stadium. You just have to be the 101st texter with the correct answer, and you can find all the details on this season's series of Bud Bash Cardinals games now at cardinals.com/promotions. Jim Bowden was on earlier today with BK and Ferrario. We played some of his audio talking about some of the pitchers that he could see the Cardinals either being interested in, available, or have made contact with the other teams for. But here's Jim Bowden discussing where the Cardinals are right now. And then I'm going to ask Marsh and Jamie this a follow-up question to this. But here's Jim Bowden.
When I was on with you last time, I told you guys the Cardinals are not a playoff team. I'm going to come on again today and tell you they are not a playoff team. However, I have been impressed how they have played. And I've been really unimpressed about the National League in general. And so we have real parity where, yes, you have a chance to win. But in my opinion, and certainly I don't have all the answers, and I don't have the crystal ball either, I probably think the Cardinals are going to finish in third place and outside of the wild card right now. But let's see what they do next week, and I may change my opinion, but my opinion really hasn't changed. I'm not trying to be mean. I root for St. Louis. I love the Cardinals. I said this when I was a GM. There was never a better fan base than when I would walk into Busch Stadium. Never fans that were more intelligent, ever, than what there is in St. Louis. So I actually have a soft spot in my heart for the franchise. I root for the franchise. But you asked me, you put me on the radio, you want me to tell you what I think? I just told you.
All right, so that was Jim Bowden.
Doesn't sound like he roots for the franchise very hard, I'll tell you that much.
All right, so and I'm not being critical at all because I think it's interesting, and maybe he's just kind of doubling down. But he was also fair. He's like, hey, I'm impressed with the way they have played, but I'm a little disappointed in the rest of the National League and the way the league has performed. My question to him, and again, I'm not being critical, but my question to him would have been, what did you see in the National League that impressed you beforehand? Outside of the Phillies, outside of the Dodgers, who has really impressed you in the National League?
Yeah. I think that's what his point is, though.
No, I know, but beforehand when he said, Cardinals, I don't know what I don't
Oh, the last time?
him. Yeah. But
okay.
but basically said, the Cardinals definitely not a playoff team. Because what he just said was, I've been more impressed with the way they have played, but I'm actually more disappointed in the way the National League has performed. What has changed since he made the comment that the Cardinals aren't a postseason team at that point? Who was really impressing him at that point?
I agree. I think you'd have the top three dogs would be the Dodgers, Phillies, and the Braves. But after that, it's literally the way it probably should have been. And you can see in the standings.
Yeah.
You've got your bottom feeders at the bottom there, but apart from those two teams, everybody else is in the mix. So I don't know who would have been impressing him before that.
Yeah, maybe the Cubs when Shota Imanaga was going through his early part of the season and really dialing it in there for the Cubs. But another team that wasn't really good is the Mets. They've been coming on, so you can't really count them. Yeah. But you can't count them from the first time.
Right. That would actually work against the argument.
Maybe the Pirates.
Maybe the Brewers.
But again, those are teams that have actually been improving.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's...
We won't know.
Yeah,
so
regardless. Here's the other question. So he has been a staunch non-believer in the Cardinals being a playoff team. If we were to look at this objectively, what do you think he's seeing?
I think he's seeing the lack of production offensively. I think he's looking at that, and he's probably looking at too many one-run games to where if the pitching goes south or the bullpen takes a little bit of a wrong turn, that they could blow up for the Cardinals. I think that's what he sees, is two MVP candidates not playing that way, and then coupling that with all the one-run games that you're squeaking by with. It's not a formula for ultimate success.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it is. If you win a one-run game, it's great, it's fantastic, but you're playing playoff teams.
Sure.
To squeak out one-run wins all the time against teams that maybe aren't playoff teams, I think that's where the concern is.
I think you look at run differential as well, and that kind of goes to your point. Like, we talked about this, a team hasn't been the division winner since 2005 with a negative run differential. That is a sign of a team that is pretty much inconsistent. We talk about May 12th and how well they performed since then, but, again, the last 10 games, they're 5-5. They got a lot of pressure from teams behind them in the wild card that are trying to chase them down, and you can't afford to go 5-5 when the Pittsburgh Pirates are going 8-2 in 10 games. So, they're making up ground quickly, and I think when you're watching this team, like you said, I think Jamie just said it, your MVP caliber candidates, MVP caliber players aren't having MVP caliber season. They aren't even having the types of seasons that we're accustomed to seeing them have, minus the 2002 season when they were that level of player. So, for me, I think it's just watching this team and taking a realistic view of it. Like, I think a lot of fans and a lot of people, myself included, often look at it with rose-colored glasses, which is why we wear the red glasses. Like, those are our rose-colored glasses. Everything looks great. But when you actually pull back and look at it from a different view, you can say, man, this team probably can't beat the Phillies in a playoff series. They probably can't beat the Dodgers in a playoff series. You talk about pitching, which is the one thing that you need. You're probably not going to be playing one-run games in the playoffs because your pitching isn't the caliber of some of those other teams. So it's frustrating, which is why I say you need to go get a guy that is a guy with the caliber of a Garrett Crochet, even if it means what we can look like for the next 2 or 3 years. I think that's what I was going to call him Bobby Bowden again. Jamie.
You got Carey. You got the consolation prize here.
Jim Bowden
take the victory.
Is looking at.
Bowden. Jim Bowden.
We'll call him Jim Bob Bowden.
Yeah.
Jim Bob Bowden.
The other thing, too, and this is just my own opinion, not Jim Bowden's, but if you look at the Pirates, I've made this point about other teams, too, or the Cardinals in previous years. You look at the Pirates, you're like, I know they can shove. You get them in a 5-game series, it's like, hey, at the very least, they can shove. The Cardinals, you look at the Cardinals roster, you're like, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Fast lane, fine.
Right. There's not one area, outside of maybe the bullpen, which we also have question marks.
Your closer. I'll take him every day of the week.
All right.
You going to get to him?
I was going to say,
I don't think you look at the Cardinals and say, I am confident in this. At the very least, I know we're a flawed team, but I'm confident in this.
No, you can't.
No.
The only thing you're confident in
part of it.
is Wilson Contreras. And the reason I say that is because Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, their success, like, you can't turn right now and say, okay, this is what they are ultimately.
Right. Yeah.
Because they could go into a dry spell. Things could change for them.
Yeah.
So it's tough. You have no certainty is what I would say.
No, at all.
And to your point, I think from a national perspective, I could be ignorant by saying this, but I think I can assume that these national people are not watching every single Cardinals game. Right. So when you do look at this team and you're not seeing how they win, you just look at their numbers. You're like, oh yeah, this team's winning. Like they must have good numbers. And then you look at it and you're like, maybe they're a bit lucky. You could say luck has something to do with these close games and whatnot, but I think that's where it comes from a national perspective, is that they dive into the numbers, and the Cardinals' numbers don't stand out by any means.
No, they don't.
Maybe in a few categories, like the bullpen's been fine, but it's not the top bullpen in the league. Like, It's still up there, but everything else is very middling. So why would you have confidence in that team making the playoffs? They are, from what their statistics say, a middling type team that will land you third in a division, because that's about the middle part of where you should slot in.
The kids would call them mid.
Mid.
Yep.
Yeah, mid. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We have What's Trending next from Centene Community Ice Center.
yourself in. You're in the fast lane, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling on 101 ESPN. It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, live from Centene Community Ice Center as Jamie continues to work with the Blues Youth Camp. We'll be here over the next couple of days. It is Freedom Friday coming up here, too, in a couple of days. So if there's some topics that you have, have wanted us to talk about, have begged us to talk about, pleaded for us to talk about, yelled at us to talk about, then you can send it in on Friday. That's kind of your day, Freedom Friday.
Can we text in our own topics?
No. Remember the bylaws.
It's called our show.
Oh. I wasn't sure.
No.
I mean, if I texted from like a KD burner account.
No, Carey, why don't you
I would accept that.
Carey, why don't you just text in your topics like tomorrow?
I noticed that Carey
to the group text.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. You could
Carey,
do that.
that's what we do, on a daily.
wondering.
That's just the normal show.
I texted one in today.
You did.
You did, and we're about to get to that right now. What's trending?
Trying to get the more, though.
Yeah, so according to several outlets, and actually it came from the TK show, which is hosted by the Athletics' Tim Kawakami, who had on Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the 49ers. And on the podcast, Shanahan said that he had reached out to Bill Belichick to be on his coaching staff this year. He said, this is Shanahan speaking, he said, I did. I threw it out to him. He loves football so much that you never know what I can't believe that he's not a head coach of a team right now. I know what I would do if I was an owner, so that shocks me. And the last thing you want to do is insult someone like Bill Belichick. But I know he just loves ball in its simplest form. So I threw it out to him, whatever he wanted to do. That included the team's defensive coordinator position, Shanahan said, a job that ultimately was filled when the 49ers promoted Nick Sorensen to that role. I was like, would you be interested? And he was very nice and appreciative, but he politely turned me down. This goes back to Shanahan and Belichick. As the story goes, when Robert Kraft told Bill Belichick, hey, you're not going to trade my son, Tom Brady. Sorry. You're not going to trade the son I never had, is what Robert Kraft said.
He does have a son, though.
The son that he wanted.
Tom Brady. Go ahead and trade Jimmy G. Belichick, who wanted to keep Jimmy G, said, okay. Traded him to the 49ers. He has mad respect for Kyle's father, Mike Shanahan. And the deal was only for a second rounder. Probably could have got a first rounder someplace else, but he wanted to make sure that Jimmy G wound up in a good spot, brokered the deal to have Jimmy G go to the 49ers, and I think that mutual respect has been there forever, so it's not surprising that Shanahan reached out to Bill Belichick and said, hey, would you want to be our DC?
I think, first of all, the fact that he did reach out to him, it speaks volumes to who Kyle Shanahan is. We talked about this with Drew Bannister and his willingness to hire a veteran Super Bowl, Stanley Cup winning coach. But to go out and try to hire Bill Belichick, right, you got to be really secure.
You just invited the vampire into the house.
You don't do that. We learned that in the Lost Boys.
Yes.
Once you invite them in,
they're in.
Boys, they're in.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want to.
Yep.
Right.
But no, I think it speaks volumes to him. And I would have loved, actually, to have seen Bill Belichick coach that defense with the stars that they have. We talked. You don't think Fred Warner's a star, but he isn't.
I think he's.
You said you don't think he's a star. I said, Anthony, he's the best middle linebacker in the NFL. And you said he's not a star. Nobody knows about Fred. I said everybody knows about Fred Warner. And Anthony argued me down. He said he's underrated. I said, no, I think he's accurately rated, Anthony, as the best middle linebacker in football.
I think so highly of Fred Warner that I think he should be
Doesn't sound like
star
at all.
And a household name.
He is.
And my point that day, Carey, was when I said name the top 10 defensive players, he rattled off like 10 people not named Fred Warner.
They rushed the quarterback. They get paid a lot of money.
I respect Fred Warner more than he does.
You weren't here. No, I think it would have been awesome though. But I do think it would have been hard for Bill Belichick to not be a head coach.
Yeah.
You won more. So you won 6 Super Bowls. What the hell can Kyle Shanahan talk to you about especially on the defensive side when it's
But I don't think
an important situation.
So I think you just nailed how it would work.
You wouldn't talk to him?
No. Kyle Shanahan would say, "Hey, Bill, that defense is yours.
Yeah.
See you on Sunday."
Yeah.
And like that's
Get out of
actually
the
kind
way.
of a relief for a head coach.
I agree.
When he'll oversee it, he'll still be there watching. He'll be a part of the meetings. I'm not saying he just completely removes himself, but that's Bill Belichick's team from the defensive side of things.
Well, and if there was a point in time where the defense would struggle, a lot of that, because of how big Bill Belichick is in his name, a lot of that wouldn't, I feel like it wouldn't be on Kyle Shanahan, because if they lost, if the team loses, it's like, Kyle Shanahan can't win the big game. Now if they lose and it's because of their defense, people are starting to point their fingers at Bill Belichick and not Kyle Shanahan.
If it's bad, how do you then fire Bill Belichick?
Well, you don't.
Like, if it's really
Unless you're
bad,
Robert Kraft.
Marshy.
What? You think?
Let him speak. He's right.
You don't. Come on.
They didn't mutually part ways.
Sure they did.
I mean, quote unquote, they did.
Bill said, I'm out of here. I'm tired of this place. Tom Brady's not here. I can't win anymore.
It would be interesting, though, to see Bill
6-1, you know?
Bill Belichick not having to have those head coaching duties or have the media duties or even the GM duties, just focus strictly on defense and what he's really good at. That'd be a very scary situation for other teams.
I was going to say, would the 49ers be automatic Super Bowl contenders?
They already are.
I mean, they are, but add Bill Belichick to that current defense that they have.
Yes.
I don't think
when they say what you want about Belichick, in like the GM spot and the stuff, the mistakes that he has made, that man has forgotten more about defensive football than most.
If Bill Belichick is your DC, and obviously Dre Greenlaw getting hurt, put a wrinkle in the game plan. But I think they win that Super Bowl. No offense to anybody else, but
no, they don't.
I listen.
Oh,
God. They're not beating Pat. They're not beating Mahomes that night. There's no way.
Gosh. We're done.
And you know what, Carey? I find it disgusting that, you and I had a pact.
I wouldn't have had said pact if Bill Belichick was the DC of the San Francisco 49ers.
Nah.
I wouldn't have went. I wouldn't have
Carey,
jumped on the. Well, I didn't jump
I've got a lot of respect for you. But for you to say that after you and I made the pact that we would not go against Pat Mahomes, to hear you say that, I just I don't know.
He didn't play Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl.
Carey doesn't live and die with the Mahomes.
That's a shame.
Yeah, let Anthony, decide that he wants to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan 2 weeks before the Super Bowl happens, after they won.
I made my commitment.
So
did you really?
Commitment?
Yeah. You call that commitment?
Yes.
2 whole weeks.
2 weeks.
I didn't.
Not 3, 2.
Did I waffle at all in those 2 weeks?
No. 2 weeks. That had to be really hard, Anthony.
It was very hard.
I bet it was.
2 weeks. Multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, one of the
exciting times.
One of the weeks there was no game, so I don't think really 1 week.
I never backed off the Chiefs those 2 weeks.
I mean,
including,
not all heroes wear capes.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for saying that.
Heroes should not wear capes.
Including, they could get sucked into an airplane.
And they have.
Including when Chiefs fans texted in, and I don't fault you for this, when they said, we don't want you on our damn bandwagon. So what I did was I grabbed a chain, and I got dragged those 2 weeks. But I stuck with it, Jamie. And our Chiefs won the Super Bowl. And then I let go.
Our Chiefs.
I let go. I said thank you.
Are you a Chiefs fan to start the 2020?
No. And you know why. They didn't want me. I understood that. I was respectful of that.
The Falcons don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl. You might as well.
The Falcons don't have a chance to win a Super Bowl ever. I'll never see the Falcons win a Super Bowl.
But that's your team, so you might as well.
And I'm there with them.
You can make the transition now.
No. I'm not going to do that.
Just add a team. It's fine.
I'm not going to go the Jamie route and start adding teams left and right.
Right, you had
an AFC team and an NFC team.
I
signed
you add certain stocks to your portfolio.
I signed.
Why can't you have an NFL portfolio?
2-week contract to be a Chiefs fan. Okay?
They never signed it, though.
I know. But I still honored it. That's how much it meant to me.
This is how I see it. Anthony was a little kid who was tubing at the Lake of the Ozarks, and the Chiefs and their fans were the dad who's like, I'm going to try and throw this kid off the tube as quickly as possible.
Yes. And I hung on.
And you just kept hanging on, Anthony.
Yeah. Blood was coming from his palms.
His pants fell off in the lake.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
All of me was out there, and I hung on. Biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, as you know, when it comes to refinancing, when it comes to securing that loan that's going to get you the dream house, there's only one man to call, and you know who that is.
Yeah, it's our guy Stewie. He's the best in the business at what he does. He makes sure that he has a program specific for what your needs are. And sometimes you don't even know that you can purchase a home or get a loan. But when you call Stewie, he walks you through how he can make it possible, and then he talks about refinancing in a couple of years, getting you a lower rate. He walks with you, holding your hand through the process, and there's nobody better in the business.
You know, he called us not too long ago and said that there was it wound up being a customer for him, but a listener to 101 ESPN, and they wanted to buy their dream home, and they had been told, they've been denied certain loan applications throughout the way, and they heard Stewie on with us, and they're like, well, let's just give it one more Hail Mary here. Turned out it wasn't a Hail Mary, it was the perfect call. Stewie worked on the loan for him, secured it for him, got them closed using the bagel loan, which is going to save you a ton of money, and they were able to purchase their dream home. So a lot of times, man, you just got to pick up the phone, call them, or text them at 314-324-4440.
Again, that's 314-324-4440.
Call, text them, date, night, doesn't matter. Just see what he can offer you, because a lot of times he can offer you a lot. And Jamie, if they didn't hear that phone number or couldn't write it down, what can they do?
Google the bagel loan.
Grant Francis here with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Yesterday, the Cardinals took a victory from Paul Skenes and the Pirates 2-1, but they didn't have the same luck today in Pittsburgh. A 5-0 loss for the Cardinals as Matthew Liberatore got the start today, went 3 innings and allowed 4 hits and 5 earned runs against. The Cardinals did have more hits than the Pirates, 6-5, out hitting them today, but they drove 0 of those runs in as they were shut out 5-0. They'll reset. They're off tomorrow, and they'll welcome in the Nationals this weekend, starting on Friday with a 3-game series at Busch Stadium. I'm Grant Francis. The SportsCenter update's been brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
We're back to the fast lane at Blues Youth Camp. Brought to you by E&B Granite, Bernie Federko's only choice for granite countertops, cabinets, and flooring. It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Live from Centene Community Ice Center, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
All right, guys, so we saw last night that Alec Burleson was able to come through with a big hit to propel the Cardinals to a win over Paul Skenes. And, you know, the Cardinals are filled with some exciting young players. I think when we look at the Cardinals now in their youth, we think of Nolan Gorman, we think of Jordan Walker, now Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson is in there as well. Could Alec Burleson, though, be the next star in St. Louis?
If he keeps playing like this, yeah, I mean, define star, because, like, if he continues to hit like this, I think he's good. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's a star.
What about from, like, and I'm looking at this from, like, an all-encompassing thing. So I'm talking about how they portray themselves outside of the game. So when they're doing interviews, are they just exciting to listen to? Do you want to stop what you're doing and listen to what they have to say? Are they funny? Like, can he get to that point where, or is he simply maybe in the same ilk as like a Lars Nootbaar, like fan favorite, give or take, but you know he's on the field.
I think Lars is more of a star than Alec Burleson is for those encompassing factors that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, Burleson doesn't have a whole pepper grinder line named after him, and people in Japan aren't selling out of pepper grinders because of Alec Burleson. You know, Nootbaar kind of did that thing. But I see where the question's stemming from, because he's got that good old boy look to him. When he gets interviewed, he's kind of funny, has some jokes. He approaches the interview in a good way. I just don't know if he's got star power. I think that he's a good player.
I think we play it. I think we use star too lax.
I didn't say superstar. I just said star. If this guy's hitting 30 home runs in a season, your name starts to jump up to the top of the list.
Do you think that Burleson is going to hit 30 consistently?
I think he could. He's now getting consistent playing time.
Is he going to get to 30 this year?
What's he at right now?
18, with 60 games left.
I think he gets to 26.
I can see that. 25, 26, 27.
I don't know if he's a consistent 30 home run hitter. Was Matt Carpenter a star?
I think he was a star in St. Louis. He had a salsa line, Anthony, and he has Carpos.
Yep. Good point.
Okay. However, if I may,
see, this is always...
Jamie went to the store during the pandemic, and literally everything was off the shelf except for Carpos.
But they still existed.
Well, maybe the marketing wasn't that good, Anthony. What do you want me to do about it?
I think if everything is off the shelf at the stores.
Was Matt Carpenter a star?
And it's a pandemic, probably.
Matt Carpenter was a star in St. Louis.
So is that the question?
That is the question.
So Alec Burleson is a star in St. Louis?
I think he can be.
Is he? So you're asking, is he the next star on this team? This team?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's Mason Wynn.
I think Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be Mason so I would say it would be Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, then Lars, and then Nolan Gorman. Like if you were ranking them right now, and maybe a year
As
down
young
the line.
players, you're talking about young-ish players?
Young players.
Okay.
Players just getting their first opportunities to start, to be, everyday players.
Yeah.
That's the order that I would rank them in. And I think Mason has the capability of being a superstar. To me, a star, and maybe that's the level. Maybe superstars are the players that are known, throughout the league, and not throughout the league, but throughout, just casual fans.
Yeah.
Whereas a star like Matt Carpenter could be a star for your team, but he's not a superstar. Where
Right.
the casual fan in Boston would know, that's Matt Carpenter.
See, I think Mason, I agree with you. I think Mason Wynn can absolutely be a star, and I think he already is. But I look at Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson, I think they're two different players. I think Mason Wynn can be a star for his defense and the way that he gets on base, his speed. People like that. It's exciting. I think Alec Burleson can be a star based on his power and his bat-the-ball skills.
See, and maybe this is just semantics, but when it comes to star, I think more of the personality. Like the play is there, but then it's the personality that makes, like Bryce Harper is a hell of a baseball player. His personality, I think, makes him a superstar.
Shohei is a superstar. You don't know. Does he have a personality?
But he doesn't need it.
But Shohei,
I'm just saying,
he does.
Shohei is sensate. Like he's a freak. Like he pitches incredibly well. He's hitting balls out of Dodger Stadium that
Paul
still
Skenes
have.
is a superstar. I sent you all a video where I think he may not enjoy anything other than baseball. He didn't even smile.
That's Harper too, though.
But I think Bryce Harper shows more. Like you.
Not now. When he first came into the league, there were, you know what I mean? Like now he's. I think there obviously there's different levels of personality.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be, funny or outlandish to have a personality. I think when somebody's talking to Bryce Harper and. He talks in a manner of like he's talking about his dad getting him, the pearls and things like that. I think that stands out. I think people like his personality.
Do you have to make an all-star game to be a star?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean it helps.
I mean you kind of have to.
I think you
kind of have to.
I think to be a star.
I'm fine with that qualification.
Are you saying that Alec Burleson doesn't have a personality?
No, he said he does.
I think
he said he does.
I think he does. But I don't know if it's one that is. You bring in Boston. I don't think Red Sox fans will know who the hell Alec Burleson is.
Right.
I think they have a chance to know who Mason Wynn is, based on young kid, flashy. I think he has a personality that once we get past the rookie year will start to come out more and more.
Okay, so let me ask you a different question. Out of Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman, and Jordan Walker, the young guys who are expected to have some pop, which one of those guys do you think could be a star?
I mean, based on his potential, Jordan Walker.
Yeah.
Right, but what we're seeing right now, I think Alec Burleson is that guy that is starting to show that he is a little bit better than these other two dudes.
But better. This is where I think we're conflicting. I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Right.
He has proven that, at least for this year, that he's a really good player. When you throw star at me, that's where you start to lose me. Because I think star is like people know who you are. But if we go to the grocery store, at least half the people are going to know who you are.
In St. Louis.
In St. Louis.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know who Alec Burleson is, then you're not watching games then. He's been one of your most consistent players all season long. Plus, he's only in his second year.
I think that's what makes a person a star. I think a star in St. Louis or a superstar, you don't have to watch the games to know who that person is.
They're just talking about you.
You just know, you know of them, and you've probably seen a picture of them. You don't necessarily have to watch 80, 90 games on Bally's to say, oh, he's you would know who that person is because that's a star. You don't have to be engulfed in baseball to know who that person is or have an idea of who he is.
Well, maybe one of these days I'll do some investigative journalism and I'll go into a grocery store and
I like that.
Do a live poll. I'll bring my poll to a grocery store.
Be careful.
I like that.
You can put your poll up at the grocery store.
At the grocery store.
Albert Pujols, superstar.
No question.
Matt Holliday,
Star.
Everybody, I'd be willing to bet that you walked into a grocery store during that time. 8 out of the 10 people knew who Matt Holliday was.
I would hope so.
I don't think, but okay. See how
10 out of 10
you say
would know who
that.
Albert
But you
was.
got.
I hope so because Matt Holliday was a star.
But you got Matt Holliday when he was already a star.
Marshy's talking like
Burleson
right now,
is in
as a
his
young
second
guy.
season. I'm talking about not right now. I'm
What does
talking
it
about
look
for the
like
future.
4 years from now.
4
if he
years from
stays
now.
like this. I think Marshy's got a point. If Burley can continue to produce like he is right now, clutch hits, good personality. 4 years from now, you probably can't walk around and not know who Alec Burleson is.
If they stayed on the same, if they both were putting Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson 4 years from now, and they're both having the same success that they're having now, I think Mason Wynn would be more known than Alec Burleson.
I agree.
I agree with you. I think I'm looking at it from a I'm taking Mason Wynn out
let's
of
change
the
the
question.
conversation.
I'm
Let's
looking
not
at the
say-
I'm looking at the boppers here.
But let's change the conversation. Let's not say it's Wynn against Burleson.
But I think
How
it's
about
part
two
of it.
independent? But no, okay. But I'm switching
more,
it. Right
who's
now.
more of a star?
No,
I'm switching it to let's just put Wynn. Let's just agree. Everybody, yes, Mason
Yes.
Wynn.
All right.
Okay, then another player.
Right.
Could another player be Alec Burleson?
I think Nolan Gorman could be.
No,
Because of-
that guy's got
because
no
of-
personality.
Well, no. Because
none.
they did a commercial. Chicks dig the long ball. If he's hitting the ball,
He
as
didn't
hard-
do that.
He
wasn't asked.
Alec Burleson's doing the same thing though.
All right.
Alec Burleson's one home run behind him.
In 4 years, we'll revisit this.
All
And
right.
Write that down, Carey.
Jamie and Mark will understand.
Yeah, save this piece of paper.
Jamie and Marsh will understand that Carey and I were right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Bet the board. 3 stars of the day. Criticisms, compliments next.
Anthony, things were a little different for me a little while ago before I discovered our good friends over at Mentality. Just energy levels weren't there, wasn't feeling myself, grumpy, irritable, all these things. Couldn't figure out at all how to change it. Went and saw Mentality, and our friends over there were awesome with me. Board-certified physicians sat down, talked to me, and the process from there was really simple.
One of the things that you and I talked about at first, I was like, okay, I already see that it's working for you, but, is it safe? Do you have any side effects? How do you feel? And you would say, listen, come down with me, talk to their experts at Mentality and just go through the process. So I did. I sat down. It was exactly how you described. It was comfortable. They asked me questions that it was just flat out, hey, how you feeling? Do you feel this way, that way, or whatever? And they said, okay, look, you're a candidate for this. Drew my blood, realized I was low on testosterone as well. And since being on the program, I've often mentioned this, Jamie. I feel it more on the weekends. I feel great because that's the time I'm running around all the time. Like during the week, sure, but you're preoccupied. Mm-hmm. But when I'm outside, I'm playing with the kids, or I'm doing something with the lawn, or get the home run derby coming up. I know those are the moments I feel the best.
Yeah, and all you have to do is go see our friends at Mentality, South County or Chesterfield. Walk in, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. And if you can't get there in person and you want more information, just visit lowtusa.com. Again, that's lowtusa.com. Our friends at Mentality.
pros and one average show. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, driven by Scrap Mart Metals Recycling.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, live from Centene Community Ice Center, you can download the podcast. Available at 101ESPN.com and your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Thompson Auto Centers. All right, time to play Bet the Board. Marsh, what's our latest standings?
Anthony, you're still leading the pack, 11-4 on the month. Jamie is right behind you, 10-5. Carey, you are 7-8, and I have a nice little record of 6-9.
Oh, dang it!
How many days we got left here? 4?
7.
No, yeah, we got a
My
little
game
while.
just started.
Oh, okay.
Son of a.
Do your live.
4 or 5.
Do the live.
It won't work live now. The odds are not as good.
Oh.
Even though it's only the bottom of the first, I don't understand how that happened, but
They change quickly. Well, I can't go back to the well tonight, gentlemen. The Dodgers are minus 188. So, why don't you give me a future Cardinal in Zach Eflin and the Rays minus 122 against a Blue Jays team that doesn't want to win this season. So, Rays minus 122 on the money line.
okay. Well, I'm trying to readjust here on the fly.
I can go if you want me to, Jamie. You don't want me to go.
I'm going to go with the Marlins pitcher, Cabrera. He's got 4.5 strikeouts is the over-under.
Is that it?
Yep. And,
You going over?
no. He's got the Orioles.
Oh.
I'm going under, and it's right at minus 150.
All right, I'm going back to my
Going under 4.5 on Cabrera?
Yeah.
pick. I'm going Aaron Judge this time.
Ooh.
What's he
1.5, 1.5. What I mean, he's been pretty good this year.
Some would say
1.5.
he's a star.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
wow.
super.
Actually,
star.
everybody would say he's a star.
Hits, runs, and
'Cause
RBI.
It's obvious.
I'd say superstar.
Minus 140.
All right.
Over 1.5.
Fair.
I will say, Carey, yesterday he was walked four
He was.
times, and then the one at-bat they actually threw to him, he struck out looking. So we'll see how
Get
that
rid of
goes.
that guy.
You just get a run, score, find a way to score.
I am out of this race, so I'm going to get a little crazy here. Give me a Juan Soto home run tonight.
Oh.
Okay, well, I don't know how crazy that is. Pretty good player, Andrew.
He is, but the odds are at plus 425. So if we're going by the odds, that would be, a bold pick.
Risque.
A little risque. So it's my pick.
All right. So let's bet the board. What do we got for criticisms and compliments?
Yeah, real quick here from the 618. Anthony, you put that hockey helmet on earlier today, trying to be Matthew Tkachuk. The 618 says Anthony puts on one hockey helmet, and now he thinks he's Ryan Reeves wanting to fight everyone.
Oh.
What? I didn't try to fight anybody.
You said drop the gloves. You said take the helmet off and drop the gloves.
I just took the helmet. I literally just took the helmet off.
I thought you said drop the gloves.
You did say drop the gloves.
Carey said drop the gloves. Oh, he's trying to drop the gloves.
Oh, well, maybe that did happen. Maybe that did happen.
Come on now.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day.
It's you. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
You literally
I remember.
said. You
I
literally
said
said,
it.
oh, look,
said
he's,
it.
trying, he's dropping the
Drop
gloves.
the gloves. And I said, don't let 2 seconds of stupidity ruin your life.
And I'm like,
Carey,
what?
you didn't say that.
I don't think
I said it.
Oh, okay.
I said it. I was the one that said
Well,
it.
I heard it.
I heard
That's
it
all I
too,
know.
yes.
That's all I know.
And I know it didn't come from me.
All right, real quick here.
You guys
before-
sound very much alike.
Yes, you do.
Before we get out of here, 3rd star of the day goes to the Chubb Club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Don't want to be a part of that.
Do not.
2nd star of the day goes to Bobby Bowden. Jamie was able to get everybody today.
Apparently, BK did it too.
Did he?
He called him Jim Bowden. I'm sorry, Jim Bowden.
Oh, man. 1st star of the day goes out to Matthew Tkachuk. Unbelievable
Oh,
interview
yes,
today.
absolutely.
Unbelievable interview.
Superstar.
Yeah, thank you,
Unbelievable.
thank you, Jamie, for securing that interview for us. And
problem.
thank you to Matthew Tkachuk for joining us. All right. Thank you to Grant Francis back in the studio. For Grant Francis, Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. See ya.